Welcome to Tech with Shaping Pixel. In this video, we're diving into the latest practice question and answers for Life in the UK Test 2026. We will cover 17 sets. Each set contains 24 Q&A. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, we'd love for you to join our growing community. Just hit that subscribe button. Want a downloadable PDF of these questions and answers? You can grab it from our website, www.shapingpixel.com. Full link is in the description below. Practice Test 1. Question 1. Is the statement below true or false? Charles Dickens was famous for writing musicals. False. Charles Dickens wrote a number of famous novels, including Oliver Twist and Great Expectations. Question 2. Is the statement below true or false? A general election occurs every 8 years. True? False? False. A general election is held at least every 5 years. Question 3. Is the statement below true or false? In the UK, you are expected to respect the rights of others to have their own opinions. True? False? True. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include respecting the rights of others, including their right to their own opinions. Question 4. Is the statement below true or false? On the 1st of April, people in the UK play jokes on each other until midday. True? False? True. April Fool's Day, April 1, is a day when people play jokes on each other until midday. The television and newspapers often have stories that are April Fool jokes. Question 5. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Shakespeare wrote, "To be or not to be." B. Shakespeare wrote, "We shall fight on the beaches." To be or not to be is a quotation from Hamlet, written by William Shakespeare. Question 6. How can you reduce your carbon footprint? A. Shop locally for products. B. Buy duty-free products when you're abroad. C. Do all your shopping online. D. Drive to the supermarket. A good way to support your local community is to shop for products locally where you can. This will help businesses and farmers in your area and in Britain. It will also reduce your carbon footprint because the products you buy will not have had to travel as far. Question 7. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The civil service largely consists of political appointees. B. The civil service is politically neutral. Civil servants support the government in developing and implementing its policies. They are chosen on merit and are politically neutral. They are not political appointees. Question 8. Which two are Protestant Christian groups in the UK? A. Methodists and Roman Catholics. B. Baptists and Hindus. C. Baptists and Methodists. D. Roman Catholics and Sikhs. Baptists and Methodists are Protestant Christian groups. Other Protestant groups in the UK include the Church of England, the Church of Scotland, Presbyterians, and Quakers. Question 9. What is the role of a jury at a court trial? A. To decide whether evidence should be allowed to be heard. B. To decide the sentence that the accused should be given. C. To decide who the judge should be. D. To decide a verdict based on what they have heard. A jury has to listen to the evidence presented at the trial and then decide a verdict of guilty or not guilty based on what they have heard. In Scotland, a third verdict of not proven is also possible. If the jury finds a defendant guilty, the judge decides on the penalty. Question 10. Which form of comedy became famous in the 19th century? A. Sitcoms. B. Satirical magazines. C. Progressive comedy. D. Court jesters. The traditions of comedy and satire and the ability to laugh at ourselves are an important part of the UK character. In the 19th century, satirical magazines began to be published. The most famous was Punch, which was published for the first time in the 1840s. Question 11. During which period did John Barber and other poets begin to write poetry in the Scots language? A. The 19th century. B. The 20th century. C. The Middle Ages. D. The Bronze Age. In the Middle Ages, a number of poets began to write in the Scots language. One example is John Barber, who wrote The Bruce about the Battle of Bannockburn. Question 12. What are Beowulf, the Tiger, and She Walks in Beauty? A. Plays. B. Films. C. Poems. D. Novels. Beowulf is an Anglo-Saxon poem. The Tiger is a poem by William Blake, and She Walks in Beauty is a poem by Lord Byron. Question 13. What is a jury made up of? A. People working in high-powered jobs. B. People randomly chosen from the electoral register. C. People who are members of political parties. D. People who have submitted an application form and been accepted. A jury is made up of members of the public, chosen at random from the local electoral register. Question 14. Which two fought in wars against Napoleon? A. Winston Churchill and the Duke of Wellington. B. Margaret Thatcher and the Duke of Wellington. C. Margaret Thatcher and Admiral Nelson. D. Admiral Nelson and the Duke of Wellington. Admiral Nelson commanded the British fleet at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805. He died during the battle. The Duke of Wellington defeated Napoleon at the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. Question 15. After slavery was abolished in the British Empire, more than 2 million migrants came from which two countries to replace the freed slaves? A. India and China. B. Russia and China. C. India and Australia. D. Russia and Australia. After 1833, 2 million Indian and Chinese workers were employed to replace the freed slaves. Question 16. Which of the following groups of adults is not eligible to vote in all UK elections? A. Citizens of the USA. B. Adult citizens of the UK. C. Citizens of the Commonwealth who are resident in the UK. D. Citizens of Ireland who are resident in the UK. Adult citizens of the UK and citizens of the Commonwealth and Ireland who are resident in the UK can vote in all public elections. Question 17. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Big Ben is a mountain in eastern England. B. Big Ben is the nickname for the great bell of the clock at the Houses of Parliament. Big Ben is the nickname for the great bell of the clock at the Houses of Parliament in London. Many people call the clock Big Ben as well. Question 18. Bobby Moore is famous for his achievements in which sport? A. Football. B. Rugby union. C. Horse racing. D. Motor racing. Bobby Moore captained the England football team that won the World Cup in 1966. Question 19. Is the statement below true or false? If you are a Commonwealth citizen living in the UK, you can vote in all public elections. True? False? Adult citizens of the UK, and citizens of the Commonwealth and Ireland who are resident in the UK can vote in all public elections. Question 20. Which two of the following were important 20th century inventors? A. Tim Berners-Lee and Isambard Kingdom Brunel. B. Alan Turing and Tim Berners-Lee. C. George Stephenson and Isambard Kingdom Brunel. D. Alan Turing and George Stephenson. Alan Turing, 1912-1954, invented a theoretical mathematical device called a Turing machine that led to the development of the modern-day computer. Tim Berners-Lee, 1955-1955, invented the World Wide Web. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. When you apply to become a UK citizen or permanent resident, you can choose which laws and responsibilities you want to accept. B. When you apply to become a UK citizen or permanent resident, you will be agreeing to respect the laws, values, and traditions of the UK. Applying to become a permanent resident or citizen of the UK is an important decision and commitment. You will be agreeing to accept the responsibilities which go with permanent residence and to respect the laws, values, and traditions of the UK. Question 22. Which two are plays by William Shakespeare? A. A Midsummer Night's Dream and Oliver Twist. B. Romeo and Juliet and Oliver Twist. C. A Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet. D. Pride and Prejudice and Romeo and Juliet. Among the many plays that Shakespeare wrote are A Midsummer Night's Dream and Romeo and Juliet. Question 23. Which two commemorations or celebrations are held in November each year? A. Remembrance Day and Bonfire Night. B. Father's Day and Valentine's Day. C. Valentine's Day and Remembrance Day. D. Valentine's Day and Bonfire Night. Bonfire Night, 5th November, is an occasion when people in Great Britain set off fireworks at home or in special displays. Remembrance Day, 11th November, commemorates those who died fighting for the UK and its allies. Question 24. Is the statement below true or false? All young people are sent a national insurance number just before their 16th birthday. All young people in the UK are sent a national insurance number just before their 16th birthday. It makes sure that the national insurance contributions and tax you pay are properly recorded against your name. Practice Test 2. Question 1. Is the statement below true or false? The civil war between Charles I and Parliament in the mid-17th century led to Oliver Cromwell becoming King of England. False. England became a republic and Cromwell became Lord Protector, not king. Question 2. Which event is remembered on 5 November each year? A. The end of the Second World War. B. The King's birthday. C. A plan to blow up the Houses of Parliament in 1605. D. The defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588. Correct answer is C. Bonfire Night marks the failed 1605 plot led by Guy Fawkes. Question 3. When is Boxing Day? A. The day after Easter. B. The day after Christmas Day. C. The last Monday in August. D. The first day in May. Correct answer is B. Boxing Day is the day after Christmas Day. Question 4. Which group of refugees settled in England between 1680 and 1720? A. Welsh, B. Germans, C. Bretons, D. Huguenots. Correct option is D. Huguenots were Protestant refugees from France. Question 5. Is the statement below true or false? "We shall fight on the beaches" is a famous quote from a speech by Queen Elizabeth I about the Spanish Armada. False. The quote is from Winston Churchill in 1940. Question 6. Is the statement below true or false? Britain has never been at war with France. False. Britain fought many wars with France. Question 7. Which two are famous British fashion designers? A. Capability Brown and Edwin Lutyens. B. Mary Quant and Capability Brown. C. Mary Quant and Vivienne Westwood. D. Capability Brown and Vivienne Westwood. Option C. Mary Quant and Vivienne Westwood are leading British designers. Question 8. Which two services are funded by national insurance contributions? A. State Retirement Pension and NHS. B. Supermarket Home Deliveries and NHS. C. Local Taxi Services and State Retirement Pension. D. State Retirement Pension and Supermarket Home Deliveries. Option A. NI funds the state pension and NHS. Question 9. Is the statement below true or false? Cardiff, Swansea, and Newport are cities in England. False. These cities are in Wales. Question 10. Which two developments were features of the Industrial Revolution? A. Machinery and steam power. B. Changes in the law and steam power. C. Machinery and medical advances. D. Medical advances and changes in the law. Machinery and steam power drove industrialization. Question 11. Who has to pay national insurance contributions? A. Almost everybody in paid work. B. Only full-time workers. C. Only those aged 50 and below. D. Only single people with no dependents. Almost everyone in paid work must pay NIC. Question 12. Is the statement below true or false? A husband who forces his wife to have sex can be charged with rape. True. Marital rape is a criminal offense. Question 13. Is the statement below true or false? All people in the UK are expected to help the police prevent and detect crimes whenever they can. True. Everyone is expected to assist the police. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? In 1805, at the Battle of Trafalgar, Admiral Nelson defeated the German fleet. False. Nelson fought French and Spanish fleets. Question 15. Is the statement below true or false? Anybody can be asked to serve on a jury, no matter how old they are. False. Jury service applies to ages 18 to 70, 18 to 75 in England and Wales. Question 16. Is the statement below true or false? There is no place in British society for extremism or intolerance. True. British values reject extremism and intolerance. Question 17. Which of the following statements is correct? A. By 1400, the preferred language of the royal court was French. B. By 1400, the preferred language of the royal court was English. Option B. English became the preferred language of the royal court. Question 18. Which two of these novels are by Charles Dickens? A. Harry Potter and Great Expectations. B. Great Expectations and Oliver Twist. C. Harry Potter and Pride and Prejudice. D. Pride and Prejudice and Oliver Twist. Option B. Dickens wrote Great Expectations and Oliver Twist. Question 19. At which festival are mince pies traditionally eaten? A. Easter. B. Diwali. C. Christmas. D. Vaisakhi. Option C. Mince pies are a traditional Christmas food. Question 20. Is the statement below true or false? During the 18th century, new ideas about politics, philosophy, and science were developed. This period is often called the Enlightenment. True. The Enlightenment promoted freedom of belief. Question 21. What is the youngest age at which you can be asked to serve on a jury? A. 22. B. 18. C. 16. D. 30. Option B. Jury service applies from age 18. Question 22. Is the statement below true or false? An example of a civil law case is when you have purchased a faulty item and made a legal complaint. True. Civil law settles disputes between individuals or groups. Question 23. Which two of the following are famous British artists? A. David Hockney and Henry Moore. B. David Hockney and Sir Edward Elgar. C. Sir Edward Elgar and Henry Moore. Or D. Sir Andy Murray and Sir Edward Elgar. Hockney was a key pop art figure. Moore is known for abstract bronze sculptures. Question 24. Which two of the following countries are members of the Commonwealth? A. USA and Australia. B. Australia and Canada. C. Canada and Russia. D. Australia and Russia. Option B. Australia and Canada are Commonwealth members. Practice Test 3. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Carrying a weapon is an example of a criminal offense. B. Being in debt is an example of a criminal offense. Option A. Carrying a weapon is one example of a criminal offense. Crimes are usually investigated by the police and punished by the courts. Question 2. Which two developments are associated with the swinging 60s? A. Abortion law reform and decimal currency. B. Children's rights law and decimal currency. C. Children's rights law and divorce law reform. D. Abortion law reform and divorce law reform. Option D. During the 1960s, a period known as the swinging 60s, a number of social changes took place. Many social laws were liberalized, for example, in regard to abortion and divorce in England, Wales, and Scotland. Question 3. Which two religions celebrate Diwali? A. Hindus and Christians. B. Hindus and Sikhs. C. Christians and Sikhs. D. Buddhists and Christians. Option B. Diwali is celebrated by Hindus and Sikhs. It celebrates the victory of good over evil and the gaining of knowledge. Question 4. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, which two major new industries developed? A. Automobiles and aviation. B. Shipbuilding and coal mining. C. Shipbuilding and aviation. Or D. Coal mining and automobiles. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, many traditional heavy industries, such as shipbuilding, went into decline. However, new industries such as aviation and the automobile industry developed. Question 5. Dundee and Aberdeen are cities in Northern Ireland. True? False? Place. Dundee and Aberdeen are cities in Scotland. Question 6. Which two are examples of civil law? A. Housing law and employment law. B. Drugs law and racial crime law. C. Employment law and drugs law. D. Housing law and racial crime law. Option A. Civil law is used to settle disputes between individuals or groups. Examples of civil law include housing law, employment law, consumer rights, and laws related to the recovery of debt. Question 7. Which two of the following are Christian festivals celebrated in the UK? A. Halloween and New Year. B. Easter and Christmas. C. Christmas and New Year. D. Easter and Halloween. Option B. Easter and Christmas are two Christian festivals. Christmas celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, and Easter marks his death on Good Friday and his rising from the dead on Easter Sunday. Question 8. Which two of the following wars were English kings involved in during the Middle Ages? A. Crusades and First World War. B. Crimean War and Crusades. C. Crimean War and 100 Years' War. D. Crusades and 100 Years' War. Option D. During the Middle Ages, the English kings fought a number of wars abroad. Many knights took part in the Crusades, in which European Christians fought for control of the Holy Land. English kings also fought a long war with France called the 100 Years' War, even though it actually lasted 116 years. Question 9. The Channel Islands are a part of the UK. True. False. False. The Channel Islands are closely linked with the UK, but are not part of it. They have their own governments and are called Crown dependencies. Question 10. Which of the following statements is correct? A. British society is founded on democracy. B. British society is founded on monarchy. Option A. British society is founded on fundamental values and principles which all those living in the UK should respect and support. One of these principles is democracy. Question 11. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Civil servants are politically neutral. B. Civil servants are political appointees. Option A. Civil servants are chosen on merit and are politically neutral. They are not political appointees. Question 12. During the Victorian period, the British Empire grew to cover all of India, Australia, and large parts of Africa. True. True. During the Victorian period, the British Empire grew to cover all of India, Australia, and large parts of Africa. It became the largest empire the world has ever seen, with an estimated population of more than 400 million people. Question 13. Florence Nightingale is associated with which war? A. First World War. B. Crimean War. C. 100 Years' War. D. Boer War. Option B. Florence Nightingale treated soldiers who were fighting in the Crimean War. She later established the Nightingale Training School for Nurses at St. Thomas Hospital in London. She is often regarded as the founder of modern nursing. Question 14. Which two are UK landmarks? A. Edinburgh Castle and London Eye. B. Eiffel Tower and Big Ben. C. Stonehenge and Tower of Pisa. D. London Eye and Statue of Liberty. Edinburgh Castle is a dominant feature of the skyline in Edinburgh, Scotland. The London Eye is situated on the southern bank of the River Thames. Both are UK landmarks. Question 15. Dylan Thomas was a famous writer and poet from which country? A. England, B. Scotland, C. Wales, D. Northern Ireland. Option C. Dylan Thomas, who lived from 1914 until 1953, was a Welsh poet and writer. One of his most well-known works is Under Milk Wood. Question 16. Which of the following statements is correct? A. County courts deal with criminal cases. B. County courts deal with civil disputes. Option B. County courts deal with a wide range of civil disputes. These include people trying to get back money that is owed to them, cases involving personal injury, family matters, breaches of contract, and divorce. Question 17. Which two of the following are famous Paralympians? A. Ellie Simmonds and Baroness Tawny Gray Thompson. B. Ellie Simmonds and Dame Ellen MacArthur. C. Dame Jessica Ennis Hill and Baroness Tawny Gray Thompson. D. Dame Jessica Ennis Hill and Dame Ellen MacArthur. Option A. Ellie Simmonds won gold medals for swimming at the 2008, 2012, and 2016 Paralympic Games. Baroness Tawny Gray Thompson is an athlete who uses a wheelchair and won 16 Paralympic medals. Question 18. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Elizabeth I was not successful in balancing her views with Parliament. B. Elizabeth I was successful in balancing her views with Parliament. Option B. Elizabeth was successful in balancing her wishes and views against those of the House of Lords and the House of Commons. Her successor, James I, and his son, Charles I, were less politically skilled. Question 19. Which court would you use to get back money that was owed to you? A. County Court. B. Magistrates Court. C. Youth Court. D. Coroner's Court. Option A. County courts deal with a wide range of civil disputes. These include people trying to get back money that is owed to them. Question 20. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Every household with a device that can be used to watch TV must have a television license. B. People who watch TV only on their computers do not need a license. Everyone in the UK with a TV, computer, or other medium which can be used for watching TV must have a television license. One license covers all of the equipment in one home, except when people rent different rooms in a shared house and each has a separate tenancy agreement. Those people must each buy a separate license. Question 21. Emmeline Pankhurst is famous for her role in the campaign to give women the vote in parliamentary elections in the UK. True, false? True. Emmeline Pankhurst, 1958 to 1928, helped found the Women's Social and Political Union, WSPU. This was the first group whose members were called suffragettes. The group used civil disobedience as part of their protest to gain the vote for women. Question 22. UK citizens must practice a Christian religion. True? False? False. Everyone has the legal right to choose their religion or to choose not to practice a religion. Question 23. Which of the following statements is correct? A. People in paid work need to pay national insurance contributions. B. People in paid work do not need to pay national insurance contributions. Almost everybody in the UK who is in paid work must pay national insurance contributions. Employees have their national insurance contributions deducted from their pay by their employer. Question 24. The Enlightenment led to major developments in which two areas? A. Science and politics. B. History and theater. C. Science and theater. D. Politics and history. During the 18th century, new ideas about politics, science, and philosophy developed. This is often called the Enlightenment. Practice Test 4. Question 1. Which two of the following are examples of criminal law? A. Disputes about faulty goods and discrimination in the workplace. B. Racial crime and discrimination in the workplace. C. Racial crime and disputes about faulty goods. D. Racial crime and selling tobacco to anyone under the age of 18. Correct answers: option D. Criminal law involves crimes investigated by authorities and punished by courts. Question 2. Which of the following is dealt with under civil law? A. Debt. B. Violent crime. C. Burglary. D. Disorderly behavior. Correct answer is option A. Debt disputes are civil matters and may lead to court proceedings. Question 3. Is the statement below true or false? Britain and Germany developed Concorde, a supersonic passenger aircraft. True, false? Correct answers is false. Concorde was developed by Britain and France. Question 4. Which two of the following are major horse racing events in the UK? A. The Open Championship and the Scottish Grand National. B. The Open Championship and the Six Nations. C. Scottish Grand National and the Six Nations. D. Scottish Grand National and Royal Ascot. Correct answers is option D. Royal Ascots and Scottish Grand National are key horse racing events. Question 5. Is the statement below true or false? Florence Nightingale is famous for her work on education in the 19th century. True? False? Correct answers is false. She is renowned for her contributions to nursing and hospital care. Question 6. Which of the following statements is correct? A. There is no place in British society for extremism or intolerance. B. Britain encourages people to have extreme views and to act upon them. Correct answers is option A. British society promotes tolerance and rejects extremism. Question 7. What important event happened in England in 1066? A. The Norman invasion. B. The Romans left England. C. The building of Hadrian's Wall. D. The Offa's Dyke. Correct answers is option A. William of Normandy defeated King Harold at the Battle of Hastings. Question 8. Which event occurs each year on the third Sunday in June? A. Halloween. B. Father's Day. C. Boxing Day. D. Remembrance Day. Correct answer is option B. Father's Day is celebrated annually on the third Sunday of June. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Donated blood is used by hospitals to help people with a wide range of injuries and illnesses. B. Donated blood is not used by hospitals to help people. Correct answers is option A. Blood donations support medical treatments and emergencies. Question 10. Which of the following was a well-known author of children's books? A. Roald Dahl. B. William Shakespeare. C. Graham Greene. D. Jane Austen. Correct answers is option A. Roald Dahl is famous for children's literature. Question 11. What happened to Margaret Thatcher in 1979 to make her famous in UK history? A. She took part in the Olympics. B. She became a high court judge. C. She became the first woman prime minister. Or D. She was made a general in the British Army. Correct answers is option C. Thatcher became the UK's first female prime minister. Question 12. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Local elections are normally held in May. B. Local elections are normally held in March. Correct answers, option A. Most local elections occur in May annually. Question 13. Which two of the following are major outdoor music festivals? A. Hogmanay and Glastonbury. B. Hogmanay and Isle of Wight Festival. C. Royal Ascot and Hogmanay. D. Isle of Wight Festival and Glastonbury. Correct answers, option D. These festivals are part of the UK's summer music season. Question 14. After the Bill of Rights was passed in 1689, which two main political groups emerged? A. Labour and Tories. B. Whigs and Tories. C. Whigs and Nationalists. D. Nationalists and Tories. Correct answers, option B. Whigs and Tories became the dominant political parties. Question 15. Is the statement below true or false? Forcing another person to marry is a criminal offense in the UK. True? False? Correct answers is true. Forced marriage is illegal and punishable by law. Question 16. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The first professional UK football clubs were formed in the late 19th century. B. The first professional UK football clubs were formed in 1066. Correct answers is option A. Football clubs emerged in the late 1800s. Question 17. Is the statement below true or false? Getting to know your neighbors can help you to become part of the community. True, false. Correct answers is true. Social engagement fosters community integration. Question 18. Which collection of poems was written by Geoffrey Chaucer? A. The Westbury Tales. B. The Ambridge Tales. C. The London Tales. D. The Canterbury Tales. Correct answers is option D. Chaucer's famous 14th century work is the Canterbury Tales. Question 19. Which is the most popular sport in the UK? A. Football. B. Rugby. C. Golf. Or D. Tennis. Correct answers is option A. Football has deep historical roots and widespread popularity. Question 20. When a member of Parliament, MP, dies or resigns, what is the election called that is held to replace them? A. Reselection. B. Selection. C. Hustings. D. By-election. Correct answers, option D. A by-election fills the vacant seat. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. After the age of 70, drivers must renew their license every 3 years. B. After the age of 70, drivers must renew their license every 5 years. Correct answers is option A. License renewal is required every 3 years post-70. Question 22. In which country was the composer George Frederick Handel born? A. Iceland. B. Russia. C. Japan. D. Germany. Correct answers are option D. Born in Germany, Handel became a British citizen in 1727? Question 23. Which of the following statements is correct? A. George and Robert Stephenson were famous pioneers of railways engines. B. George and Robert Stephenson were famous pioneers of agricultural changes. Correct answers is option A. They were key figures in railway engineering. Question 24. Which of the following is a famous garden in Scotland? A. Hidcote, B. Inverary Castle, C. Mount Stewart, D. Bodnet Garden. Correct answers is option B. Inverary Castle is a notable Scottish garden. Practice Test 5. Question 1. Is the statement below true or false? If an accused person is aged 18 to 21, their case will be heard in a youth court. True? False? False. If an accused person is aged 10 to 17, the case is normally held in a youth court. Question 2. Which two of the following are fundamental principles of British life? A. Only driving your car on weekdays and participation in community life. B. Participation in community life and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. C. Only driving your car on weekdays and growing your own fruit and vegetables. D. Growing your own fruit and vegetables and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. Answer is B. British society is founded on fundamental values and principles which all those living in the UK should respect and support. These include participation in community life and tolerance of those with different faiths and beliefs. Question 3. What is the name of the Houses of Parliament's clock tower? A. Big Ben Tower, B. Parliament Tower, C. House of Commons Tower, D. Elizabeth Tower. Option D. The clock tower is named Elizabeth Tower in honor of Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee in 2012. Question 4. Which of the following was a famous British inventor? A. Dylan Thomas, B. Clement Attlee, C. Emmeline Pankhurst, D. Sir Peter Mansfield. Option D. Sir Peter Mansfield, 1933 to 2017, a British scientist, is the co-inventor of the MRI scanner. Question 5. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Jane Austen and Charles Dickens were famous novelists. B. Jane Austen and Charles Dickens were famous painters. Question 5. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Jane Austen and Charles Dickens were famous novelists. B. Jane Austen and Charles Dickens were famous painters. Question 6. Which of the following is a traditional food associated with Scotland? A. Roast beef, B. Ulster fry, C. Fish and chips, or D. Haggis? Option D. Haggis is a traditional Scottish food. It is a sheep's stomach stuffed with offal, suet, onions, and oatmeal. Question 7. When is a by-election for a parliamentary seat held? Halfway through a parliamentary term? Every 2 years? When a member of Parliament, MP, dies or resigns? When the Prime Minister decides to call one? Option C. If an MP dies or resigns, there will be a fresh election, called a by-election, in his or her constituency. Question 8. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Halloween is when lovers exchange cards and gifts. B. Halloween has its roots in an ancient pagan festival marking the beginning of winter. Option B. Explanation. Halloween is an ancient festival and has its roots in the pagan festival to mark the beginning of winter. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. In 1588, the English defeated the Spanish Armada. B. In 1588, the English defeated German bomber planes. Option A. In 1588, the English defeated the Spanish Armada, a large fleet sent by Spain to conquer England. Question 10. Which two actions can a judge take if a public body is not respecting someone's legal rights? A. Order the body to pay compensation and close down the public body. B. Place the body's members in prison and close down the public body. C. Order the body to change its practices and order the body to pay compensation. D. Place the body's members in prison and order the body to change its practices. Option C. Judges can order that a public body change its practices and/or pay compensation. Question 11. Who invaded England in 1066? A. Richard the Lionheart. B. King Canute. C. William the Duke of Normandy. D. Harold of Wessex. Option C. William, Duke of Normandy, invaded England and defeated King Harold at the Battle of Hastings. Question 12. Which of the following statements is correct? A. In a Crown Court case, the judge decides the penalty when someone is found guilty. B. In a Crown Court case, the jury decides the penalty when someone is found guilty. Option A. If the jury finds the defendant guilty, the judge decides the penalty. Question 13. Which of these events changed the powers of the king in 1215? A. The Domesday Book. B. The Magna Carta. C. The Reform Act. D. The Black Death. Option B. The Magna Carta established that even the king was subject to the law and protected the rights of the nobility. Question 14. Which two are famous British composers? A. Henry Purcell and Ralph Vaughan Williams. B. Johann Sebastian Bach and Henry Purcell. C. Claude Debussy and Henry Purcell. Or D. Claude Debussy and Johann Sebastian Bach. Option A. Purcell developed a British style of church and opera music. Vaughan Williams was influenced by English folk music. Question 15. If your car is more than 3 years old, how often will it need a Ministry of Transport MOT test? A. Every 3 years. B. Every 6 months. C. Every 10 years. D. Every year. Option D. It is an offense not to have an MOT certificate if your vehicle is more than 3 years old. Question 16. In 1348, a third of the populations of England, Wales, and Scotland died as a result of which plague? A. The Blue Death. B. The White Death. C. The Green Death. Or D. The Black Death. Option D. The Black Death was one of the worst disasters ever to strike Britain. Question 17. What type of church is the Church of Scotland? A. Quaker. B. Roman Catholic. C. Presbyterian. D. Methodist. Option C. The Church of Scotland is a Presbyterian church. Question 18. Is the statement below true or false? Participating in your community is a fundamental principle of British life. True. False. True. British society is founded on values including participation in community life. Question 19. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Wars of the Roses were between the houses of Lancaster and York. B. The Wars of the Roses were between the houses of Windsor and Tudor. Option A. The Wars of the Roses were fought between Lancaster, red rose, and York, white rose. Question 20. What important change to our voting rights took place in 1969? A. Women over 35 were given the vote. B. Prisoners were given the vote. C. The voting age was reduced to 18 for men and women. Or D. Compulsory voting was introduced. Option C. In 1969, the voting age was reduced to 18. Question 21. In 1776, 13 British colonies declared their independence. In which part of the world were these colonies? A. Australia. B. Canada. C. America. D. South Africa. Option C. The colonies eventually defeated the British Army, and Britain recognized their independence in 1783. Question 22. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Lancelot Capability Brown and Gertrude Jekyll were famous garden designers. B. Lancelot Capability Brown and Gertrude Jekyll were famous characters in a Sherlock Holmes story. In the 18th century, Lancelot Capability Brown designed the grounds around country houses so that the landscape appeared natural, with grass, trees, and lakes. Later, Gertrude Jekyll often worked with Edwin Lutyens to design colorful gardens around the houses he designed. Question 23. Which two are famous horse racing events? A. The Cup Final and the Six Nations. B. The Grand National and Royal Ascot. C. Royal Ascot and the Six Nations. D. The Grand National and the Cup Final. Option B. Famous horse racing events include Royal Ascot, a 5-day race meeting in Berkshire attended by members of the royal family, the Grand National at Aintree near Liverpool, and the Scottish Grand National at Ayr. Question 24. What is the minimum age you can drive a car or motorcycle in the UK? A. 17, B. 21, C. 18, D. 25. In the UK, you must be at least 17 years old to drive a car or motorcycle, and you must have a driving license to drive on public roads. Practice Test 6. Question 1. How old do you need to be in order to stand for public office? A. 16, B. 18, C. 20, D. 21. Answer B. Most citizens of the UK, Ireland, or the Commonwealth aged 18 or over can stand for public office. Question 2. What sort of cases do Crown Courts and Sheriff Courts deal with? A. Small claims procedures. B. Youth cases. C. Minor criminal cases. D. Serious offenses. Answer D. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, serious offenses are tried in front of a judge and jury in a Crown Court. In Scotland, serious cases are heard in a sheriff court with either a sheriff or a sheriff with a jury. Question 3. What is the minimum age at which you can legally buy alcohol in the UK? A. 20, B. 21, C. 18, D. 19. Answer C. It is a criminal offense to sell alcohol to anyone who is under 18 or to buy alcohol for people who are under the age of 18. There is one exception. People aged 16 or over can drink alcohol with a meal in a hotel or restaurant. Question 4. Which two famous London buildings are built in the 19th century Gothic style? A. The Houses of Parliament and Buckingham Palace. B. St. Paul's Cathedral and St. Pancras Station, C. St. Paul's Cathedral and Buckingham Palace, D. The Houses of Parliament and St. Pancras Station. Answer D. In the 19th century, the medieval Gothic style became popular again. The Houses of Parliament and St. Pancras Station were built at this time. Question 5. How many people serve on a jury in Scotland? A. 8, B. 11, C. 15, D. 20. Answer C. In Scotland, a jury has 15 members. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, a jury has 12 members. Question 6. Is the statement below true or false? In 1588, the English defeated the Spanish Armada. True? False? True. In 1588, the English defeated the Spanish Armada, a large fleet of ships, which had been sent by Spain to conquer England and restore Catholicism. Question 7. Which two members of a family have a special day dedicated to them? A. Uncles and aunts, B. Mothers and aunts, C. Fathers and aunts, D. Fathers and mothers. Answer D. In the UK, Mothering Sunday is celebrated on the Sunday 3 weeks before Easter and Father's Day on the third Sunday in June. Children send cards and give gifts on these days. Question 8. How old do you have to be to go into a betting shop in the UK? A. 21, B. 18, C. 25, D. 30. Answer B. In the UK, people often enjoy a gamble on sports or other events. You have to be over 18 to go into betting shops or gambling clubs. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. In 1776, 13 American colonies declared their independence from Britain. B. The American colonists were eventually defeated by the British. In 1776, 13 American colonies declared their independence from Britain, stating that people had a right to establish their own governments. Question 10. How old must you be to ride a moped in the UK? A. 18, B. 25, C. 16, D. 21. Answer C. In the UK, you need to be at least 16 years old to ride a moped. Question 11. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Gilbert and Sullivan were a comedy double act. B. Gilbert and Sullivan wrote many comic operas. Answer B. In the 19th century, Gilbert and Sullivan wrote comic operas, often making fun of popular culture and politics. These operas include HMS Pinafore, The Pirates of Penzance, and The Mikado. Question 12. Is the following statement true or false? British values and principles are based on history and traditions. True? False? Answer: true. British society is founded on fundamental values and principles which are based on history and traditions and are protected by law, customs, and expectations. Question 13. Is the statement below true or false? In 1833, the Emancipation Act abolished slavery throughout the British Empire. True? False? True. In 1833, the Emancipation Act abolished slavery throughout the British Empire. Question 14. Which of these is the name of a novel by Jane Austen? A. Sense and Sensibility, B. Far from the Madding Crowd, C. Oliver Twist, D. Our Man in Havana. Answer A. Jane Austen was an English novelist. Her books include Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. Her novels are concerned with marriage and family relationships. Many have been made into television programs or films. Question 15. Which two things can you do to look after the environment? A. Recycle your waste and never turn your lights off in your house. B. Drive your car as much as possible and never turn the lights off in your house. C. Recycle your waste and walk and use public transport to get around. D. Drive your car as much as possible and recycle your waste. Answer C. It is important to recycle as much of your waste as you can, so the amount of rubbish being put into landfill is reduced. Walking and using public transport to get around when you can is also a good way to protect the environment. Question 16. Why is 1918 an important date in the history of women's rights? A. The first divorce laws were introduced. B. Women over the age of 30 were given voting rights. C. Equal pay laws were passed. D. Women were made legally responsible for their children. Answer B. In 1918, women over the age of 30 were given voting rights. In 1928, women were given the right to vote at the age of 21, the same as men. Question 17. Is the statement below true or false? In 1921, a peace treaty was signed which led to Ireland becoming two countries. True? False? True. In 1921, a peace treaty was signed, and in 1922, Ireland became two countries. The 6 counties in the north, which were mainly Protestant, remained part of the UK under the name Northern Ireland. The rest of Ireland became the Irish Free State. It had its own government and became a republic in 1949. Question 18. Is the statement below true or false? John Constable, 1776 to 1837, founded the modern police force in England. True? False? False. John Constable was a landscape painter most famous for his works of Dedham Vale on the Suffolk-Essex border in the east of England. Question 19. Who appoints life peers in the House of Lords? A. The monarch. B. The Archbishop of Canterbury. C. The Speaker of the House of Commons. D. The Chief Whip. Answer A. Life peers are appointed by the monarch on the advice of the Prime Minister. Question 20. Dunkirk is associated with which two events? A. The fall of Singapore and small boats coming to the rescue. B. The D-Day landings and the fall of Singapore. C. The rescue of 300,000 men and small boats coming to the rescue. D. The fall of Singapore and the rescue of 300,000 men. Answer C. In 1940, many civilian volunteers in small pleasure and fishing boats helped the Navy rescue 300,000 men from the beaches around Dunkirk. This became known as the Dunkirk Spirit. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Black Death caused the death of 1/3 of people in Ireland. B. The Black Death caused the death of 1/3 of people in England, Scotland, and Wales. Answer B. In 1348, a disease, probably a form of plague, arrived in Britain. 1/3 of the population of England died, and a similar proportion in Scotland and Wales. Question 22. What happens when a member of Parliament, MP, dies or resigns? A. The post remains vacant until the next general election. B. Their party chooses someone to fill the post until the next general election. C. A by-election is held to replace the MP. D. A neighboring MP looks after the constituency. Answer C. If an MP dies or resigns, a fresh election, called a by-election, is held in that constituency. Question 23. Which festival is celebrated on 31st October? A. Valentine's Day. B. Bonfire Night. C. Halloween. D. Hogmanay. Answer: C. Halloween is celebrated on 31st October. Question 24. Is the statement below true or false? Most people live in the countryside in the UK. True. False. Answer: false. Most people in the UK live in towns and cities, although much of Britain is still countryside. Practice Test 7. Question 1. Is the statement below true or false? The 40 days before Easter are known as Lent. False. True. True. Lent is a time when Christians take time to reflect and prepare for Easter. Traditionally, people would fast during this period, and today many people will give something up, like a favorite food. Question 2. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Magistrates usually work unpaid and do not need legal qualifications. B. Magistrates must be specially trained legal experts who have been solicitors for 3 years. Option A. Magistrates are members of the local community. They usually work unpaid and do not need legal qualifications. Question 3. Which two were 20th century British discoveries or inventions? A. Mobile phones and Walkmans. B. Cash points, ATMs, and Walkmans. C. Cloning a mammal and cash points, ATMs. D. Cloning a mammal and mobile phones. Option 3. In 1996, Sir Ian Wilmot and Keith Campbell led a team which was the first to succeed in cloning a mammal. In the 1960s, James Goodfellow invented the cash point, ATM. Question 4. Who do some local councils appoint as a ceremonial leader? A. A local business leader. B. A member of the royal family. C. A local celebrity. D. A mayor. Option D. Many local authorities appoint a mayor who is the ceremonial leader of the council. In some towns, a mayor is elected to be the effective leader of the administration. Question 5. With which sport do you associate Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, and Damon Hill? A. Football. B. Athletics. C. Skiing. Or D. Formula One. Option D. Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, and Damon Hill are all British Grand Prix drivers who have won the Formula One World Championship. Question 6. Is the statement below true or false? A public vote in 2002 decided that Winston Churchill was the greatest Briton of all time. False? True? True. In 2002, Winston Churchill, 1874 to 1965, was voted the greatest Briton of all time by the public. Question 7. What happens when members of Parliament, MPs, hold surgeries? A. Local councillors meet their MP to discuss local issues. B. Members of the public meet their MP to discuss issues. C. MPs meet doctors to discuss local health issues. Or D. MPs meet the press to discuss national issues. Option B. Many MPs hold regular local surgeries where constituents can go in person to talk about issues that are of concern to them. Question 8. Which of the following UK landmarks is in Northern Ireland? A. Big Ben. B. Snowdonia. C. The Giant's Causeway. D. The Eden Project. Option C. Located on the northeast coast of Northern Ireland, the Giant's Causeway is a land formation of columns made from volcanic lava. Question 9. What task is associated with the National Trust? A. Building new public roads. B. Preserving old aircraft. C. Preserving important buildings and places. D. Managing investment accounts. Option C. Many parts of the countryside and places of interest are kept open by the National Trust in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, and the National Trust for Scotland. Both are charities that work to preserve important buildings, coastline, and countryside in the UK. Question 10. Which of the following is a fundamental principle of British life? A. Extremism. B. Individual liberty. C. Intolerance. D. Inequality. Option B. Individual liberty is a fundamental principle of British life. There is no place in British society for extremism or intolerance. Question 11. Which of the following statements is correct? A. In Elizabeth I's time, English settlers began to colonize Australia. B. In Elizabeth I's time, English settlers began to colonize the eastern coast of America. Option B. In Elizabeth I's time, English settlers first began to colonize the eastern coast of America. Question 12. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Members of the House of Lords are not elected by the people. B. Members of the House of Lords are voted in by members of the House of Commons. Option A. Members of the House of Lords are not elected by the people and do not represent a constituency. Question 13. In which battle during the First World War did the British suffer 60,000 casualties on the first day? A. Agincourt. B. El Alamein. C. The Somme. D. Waterloo. Option D. In July 1916, the British suffered 60,000 casualties on the first day of the Battle of the Somme. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? Members of the public are allowed to attend youth court hearings. False? True? False. Members of the public are not allowed in youth courts, and the name or photographs of the accused young person cannot be published in newspapers or used by the media. Question 15. Which of the following statements is correct? A. A famous sailing event is held at Cowes on the Isle of Wight. B. A famous sailing event is held in the city of Norwich. Option A. Many sailing events are held throughout the UK, the most famous of which is at Cowes on the Isle of Wight. Question 16. During which part of the year are pantomime productions staged in theaters? A. Easter. B. Summer. C. Christmas. D. Valentine's Day. Option C. Many theaters produce a pantomime at Christmas time. They are light-hearted plays with music and comedy enjoyed by family audiences. Question 17. Is the statement below true or false? The Restoration refers to the re-establishment of Catholicism as the official church in the 17th century. True or false? False. In May 1660, Parliament invited Charles II to come back from exile in the Netherlands. He was crowned King Charles II of England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. This is referred to as the Restoration. Question 18. Is the statement below true or false? Members of the armed forces cannot stand for public office. True or false? True. Most citizens of the UK, Ireland, or the Commonwealth aged 18 or over can stand for public office. there are some exceptions, including members of the armed forces. Question 19. Which two political parties formed the coalition government in 2010? A. Labor and Chartists. B. Chartists and Liberal Democrats. C. Conservatives and Liberal Democrats. D. Conservatives and Labor. Option C. In May 2010, the Conservative and Liberal Democrat parties formed a coalition, and the leader of the Conservative Party, David Cameron, became Prime Minister. Question 20. How often are members of Parliament, MPs, elected? A. At least every 3 years. B. Every 6 months. C. Every year. D. At least every 5 years. Option D. MPs are elected at a general election, which is held at least every 5 years. Question 21. In the 19th century, the UK produced more than half the world's supply of one of these products. Which one? A. Cotton cloth. B. Beer. C. Cigarettes. D. Rubber. Option A. In the 19th century, the UK produced more than half of the world's supplies of iron, coal, and cotton cloth. Question 22. Is the statement below true or false? Most people in the UK live in towns and cities. False. True. True. Most people live in towns and cities, but much of Britain is still countryside. Question 23. Which two courts deal with minor criminal cases in the UK? A. Justice of the Peace Court and Magistrates Court. B. Centre Court and Crown Court. C. Justice of the Peace Court and Crown Court. D. Crown Court and Magistrates Court. Option A. In England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, most minor criminal cases are dealt with in a magistrate's court. In Scotland, minor criminal offenses go to a Justice of the Peace Court. Question 24. Once you are age 17, which two vehicles can you learn to drive? A. Car and fire engine. B. Motorcycle and fire engine. C. Motorcycle and heavy goods vehicle. D. Motorcycle and car. Option D. In the UK, you must be at least 17 years old to drive a car or motorcycle, and you must have a driving license to drive on public roads. Practice Test 8. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct? A. All shops in the UK close on Sundays. B. Most shops in the UK open 7 days a week. Option B. Most shops in the UK open 7 days a week, although trading hours on Sundays and public holidays are generally reduced. Question 2. Which of these is a fundamental principle of British life? A. Actively supporting your local football team. B. Participation in community life. C. Ignoring your neighbors. D. Eating fish on a Friday. Option B. Participation in community life is one of the fundamental values and principles which all those living in the UK should respect and support. Question 3. Who were the suffragettes? A. Women who left the UK to live in America. B. Women who campaigned for women's votes. C. Women who left their jobs when they got married. D. Women who stayed at home to raise a family. Option B. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, an increasing number of women campaigned and demonstrated for women's rights, in particular the right to vote. They formed the women's suffrage movement and became known as suffragettes. Question 4. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Members of Parliament, MPs, are elected through a system called first past the post. B. MPs are elected through a system called proportional representation. Option B. MPs are elected through a system called first past the post. This means that in each constituency, the candidate who gets the most votes is elected. Question 5. Which two of the following are responsibilities of members of Parliament, MPs? A. Representing everyone in their constituency and supporting the government on all decisions and laws. B. Scrutinizing and commenting on what the government is doing and representing only those who voted for them. C. Scrutinizing and commenting on what the government is doing and supporting the government on all decisions and laws. Or D. Representing everyone in their constituency and scrutinizing and commenting on what the government is doing. Option D. MPs have a number of different responsibilities, including representing everyone in their constituency and scrutinizing and commenting on what the government is doing. Question 6. Which of the following statements is correct? A. National parks are areas of protected countryside that everyone can visit. B. National parks are national sports stadiums for people to hold sporting events. Option A. National parks are areas of protected countryside that everyone can visit and where people live, work, and look after the landscape. There are 15 national parks in England, Wales, and Scotland. Question 7. Is the statement below true or false? True. Northern Ireland and Scotland have their own banknotes. False. True. Northern Ireland and Scotland have their own banknotes, which are valid everywhere in the UK. Question 8. Which of the following statements is correct? A. In Northern Ireland, a member of your family must complete a voting registration form on your behalf. B. In Northern Ireland, all those entitled to vote must complete their own registration form. Option B. Northern Ireland has a system called individual registration, which means all those entitled to vote must complete their own registration form. Question 9. On average, boys in the UK leave school with better qualifications than girls. Is the statement below true or false? False. On average, girls leave school with better qualifications than boys. Also, more women than men study at university. Question 10. Which of the following was Isambard Kingdom Brunel famous for building? A. Motor cars. B. Aeroplanes. C. Bridges. D. Skyscrapers. Option C. Isambard Kingdom Brunel was a famous Victorian engineer who built railway lines, bridges, tunnels, and ships. Question 11. Which two of the following do you have to pay tax on? A. Income from property, savings, and dividends, and small amounts of money given to you as a gift. B. Income from property, savings, and dividends, and shopping vouchers given to you by family or friends. C. Profits from self-employment and income from property, savings, and dividends. D. Profits from self-employment and shopping vouchers given to you by family or friends. Option C. People in the UK have to pay tax on their income, which includes profits from self-employment and income from property, savings, and dividends. Question 12. Pantomimes are plays based on fairy stories. Is the statement below true or false? True. Pantomime plays are a British tradition. Many theaters produce a pantomime at Christmas time. They are based on fairy stories and are light-hearted plays with music and comedy. Question 13. What must police officers do? A. Be rude and abusive. B. Obey the law. C. Make a false statement. D. Commit racial discrimination. Option B. Police officers must obey the law. They must not be rude or abusive, make a false statement, misuse their authority, or commit racial discrimination. Question 14. Why was the Magna Carta important? A. It gave all men the vote. B. It restricted the power of the monarch. C. It established a system of free education. D. It gave women legal rights. Option B. King John was forced by his noblemen to agree to a number of demands. The result was a charter of rights called the Magna Carta, which restricted the king's power to collect taxes or to make or change laws. Question 15. By joining a political party, what two activities might you be involved in? A. Violent clashes with other political parties and handing out leaflets in the street. B. Joining your MPs for sessions in the House of Commons and handing out leaflets in the street. C. Handing out leaflets in the street and knocking on people's doors asking for support. D. Joining your MP for sessions in the House of Commons and knocking on people's doors and asking for support. Option C. Political parties welcome new members. Members work hard to persuade people to vote for their candidates, for instance, by handing out leaflets in the street or by knocking on people's doors and asking for their support. This is called canvassing. Question 16. In the UK, there are now a record number of people aged 85 and over. Is the statement below true or false? True. People in the UK are living longer than ever before. There are now a record number of people aged 85 and over. Question 17. Which two of these figures were great Scottish thinkers of the Enlightenment? A. Robert Louis Stevenson and David Hume. B. Adam Smith and David Hume. C. Robert Burns and Robert Louis Stevenson. Or D. Robert Burns and David Hume. Option B. Explanation. Many of the great thinkers of the Enlightenment were Scottish. Adam Smith developed ideas about economics. David Hume wrote about human nature. Question 18. Margaret Thatcher was the longest-serving UK Prime Minister of the 20th century. Is the statement below true or false? True. Margaret Thatcher was the longest-serving Prime Minister of the 20th century. She won her first general election in 1979 and was re-elected in 1983 and 1987. She left office in 1990. Question 19. During which period did agriculture and the manufacturing of goods become mechanized? A. The Glorious Revolution. B. The Industrial Revolution. C. The Middle Ages. D. The Bronze Age. Option B. The Industrial Revolution was the rapid development of industry in Britain in the 18th and 19th centuries. Britain was the first country to industrialize on a large scale. It happened because of the development of machinery and the use of steam power. Agriculture and the manufacturing of goods became mechanized. Question 20. In 1999, what happened to hereditary peers in the House of Lords? A. Their numbers were greatly increased. B. Their salaries were stopped. C. Women were allowed to inherit their titles. D. They lost their automatic right to attend the House of Lords. Option D. Since 1999, hereditary peers have lost the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. They now elect a few of their number to represent them in the House of Lords. Question 21. Pressure and lobby groups try to influence government policy. Is the statement below true or false? True. Pressure and lobby groups are organizations which try to influence government policy. They play an important role in politics. Question 22. What is one of the roles of school governors? A. Setting the strategic direction of the school. B. Marking students' homework. C. Giving teachers ideas for lesson plans. D. Serving food and drink in the canteen. Option A. School governors have an important part to play in raising school standards. This includes setting the strategic direction of the school. Question 23. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Several British writers have won the Nobel Prize in Literature. B. No British writer has won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Option A. Several British writers, including the novelist Sir William Golding, the poet Seamus Heaney, and the playwright Harold Pinter, have won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Question 24. Which parts of the United Kingdom have devolved governments? A. England and Wales. B. Wales, England, and Northern Ireland. C. Only Northern Ireland. D. Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Option D. Some powers have been devolved from central government to give people in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland more control over matters that directly affect them. Practice Test 9. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Mary, Queen of Scots, was a Catholic. B. Mary, Queen of Scots, was a Protestant. Option A is correct. Explanation. The Queen of Scotland, Mary Stuart, often now called Mary, Queen of Scots, was a Catholic. Question 2. How often does Prime Minister's questions occur when Parliament is sitting? A. Every day. B. Twice a week. C. Once a week. D. Once a month. Option C is correct. Prime Minister's questions takes place every week while Parliament is sitting. Question 3. Which two of the following are recent British film actors that have won Oscars? Are you ready for the options? Tilda Swinton and Jane Torville, Colin Firth and Robert Louis Stevenson, Jane Torville and Colin Firth, or Tilda Swinton and Colin Firth. Take your time. Option D is correct. Recent British actors to have won Oscars include Colin Firth, Sir Anthony Hopkins, Dame Judi Dench, Kate Winslet, and Tilda Swinton. Question 4. Who was given the title of Lord Protector in the 17th century? A. King Charles II. B. Samuel Pepys. C. Oliver Cromwell. D. Isaac Newton. Option C is correct. Oliver Cromwell was given the title of Lord Protector and ruled until his death in 1658. Question 5. The term D-Day refers to which event in British history? A. The Battle of Trafalgar. B. Landing of Allied troops in Normandy. C. Dropping of the atom bomb on Japan. D. End of the war in Europe in 1945. Option B is correct. On 6 June 1944, often referred to as D-Day, Allied forces landed in Normandy. Following victory on the beaches of Normandy, the Allied forces pressed on through France and eventually into Germany. Question 6. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Proceedings in Parliament cannot be reported in the press. B. Proceedings in Parliament are broadcast on television. Option B is correct. Proceedings in Parliament are broadcast on television and published in official reports called Hansard. Most people get information about political issues and events from newspapers, often called the press, television, radio, and the internet. Question 7. Which two foods are associated with England? A. Ulster fry and roast beef. B. Haggis and roast beef. C. Roast beef and fish and chips. D. Haggis and Ulster fry. Option C is correct. Roast beef is served with potatoes, vegetables, Yorkshire puddings, and other accompaniments. Fish and chips are also popular in England. Question 8. Which Jubilee did Queen Elizabeth II celebrate in 2012? A. Platinum Jubilee, 70 years as Queen. B. Diamond Jubilee, 60 years as Queen. C. Silver Jubilee, 25 years as Queen. D. Golden Jubilee, 50 years as Queen. Option B is correct. Queen Elizabeth II reigned from 1952 until her death in 2022. In 2012, she celebrated her Diamond Jubilee, 60 years as Queen. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Rugby was introduced to ancient Britain by Viking invaders. B. Rugby originated in England in the early 19th century. Option B is correct. Rugby originated in England in the early 19th century and is a very popular sport in the UK today. Question 10. Which queen is remembered for fighting against the Romans? A. Elizabeth. B. Boudica. C. Victoria. D. Anne. Option B is correct. One of the tribal leaders who fought against the Romans was Boudica, the queen of the Iceni in what is now eastern England. She is still remembered today, and there is a statue of her on Westminster Bridge in London, near the Houses of Parliament. Question 11. Which two of the following are Christian groups? A. Roman Catholics and Baptists. B. Hindus and Baptists. C. Roman Catholics and Sikhs. D. Roman Catholics and Buddhists. Option A is correct. Roman Catholics and Baptists are Christian groups. Baptists are a Protestant Christian group. Other Protestant groups include the Church of England, Methodists, Presbyterians, and Quakers. Question 12. Is the statement below true or false? When Queen Anne died in 1714, Parliament chose a German to be the next king of England. True. Queen Anne had no surviving children, so Parliament chose a German, George I, to be the next king because he was Anne's nearest Protestant relative. Question 13. Which of the following statements is correct? A. There is a yearly sailing race on the River Thames between Oxford and Cambridge universities. B. There is a yearly rowing race on the River Thames between Oxford and Cambridge universities. Option B is correct. Explanation. Rowing is a popular sport in the UK, both as a leisure activity and as a competitive sport. There is a popular yearly race on the River Thames between Oxford and Cambridge universities. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? You can support your local community by becoming a school governor. True. School governors are people from the local community who wish to make a positive contribution to children's education. Question 15. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Richard Arkwright developed new farming methods in the UK. B. Richard Arkwright ran efficient and profitable factories. Option B is correct. Richard Arkwright is remembered for the efficient and profitable way that he ran his factories. Question 16. What do Sir William Golding, Seamus Heaney, and Harold Pinter have in common? A. They were all famous British athletes. B. They all became Prime Minister. C. they were part of the first British expedition to the North Pole, or D, they have all won the Nobel Prize in Literature? Option D is correct. Several British writers, including the novelist Sir William Golding, the poet Seamus Heaney, and the playwright Harold Pinter, have won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Question 17. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The UK offers its citizens and permanent residents freedom of speech. B. The UK does not allow citizens or permanent residents to voice opinions publicly. Option A is correct. The UK offers citizens and permanent residents various freedoms and rights, including freedom of speech. Question 18. Which part of the UK is associated with Robert Burns, 1759 to 96? A. England, B. Scotland, C. Wales, D. Northern Ireland. Option B is correct. Robert Burns is associated with Scotland. He was a poet. One of his best-known works is the song Auld Lang Syne. Question 19. Is the statement below true or false? Hereditary peers have the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. False. Since 1999, hereditary peers have lost the automatic right to attend the House of Lords. They now elect a few of their number to represent them. Question 20. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Sheikh Dean Mohammed is famous for introducing tea drinking and bungalows to Britain from India. B. Sheikh Dean Mohammed is famous for introducing puri houses to Britain from India. Option B is correct. Sheikh Dean Mohammed, 1759 to 1851, opened the first curry house in Britain in 1810. Question 21. The term suffragettes is associated with which group of people? A. Men, B. Women, C. Children, D. Migrant. Option B is correct. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, an increasing number of women campaigned and demonstrated for greater rights, and in particular, the right to vote. They formed the women's suffrage movement and became known as suffragettes. Question 22. Which two of the following were famous Victorians? A. Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Margaret Thatcher. B. Isambard Kingdom Brunel and Florence Nightingale. C. Margaret Thatcher and Dylan Thomas. D. Margaret Thatcher and Florence Nightingale. Option B is correct. Isambard Kingdom Brunel was a famous engineer, and Florence Nightingale. Question 23. Which two of the following do pressure and lobby groups do? A. Organize violent protests and try to influence government policy. B. Assist MPs in their constituency work and represent the views of British business. C. Try to influence government policy and represent the views of British businesses. Or D. Organize violent protests and assist MPs in their constituency work. Option C is correct. Pressure and lobby groups are organizations which try to influence government policy. Some represent the views of British business. Others campaign on particular topics, such as the environment. Question 24. What is a fundamental principle of British life? A. The rule of law. B. The rule of the upper classes. C. The rule of the monarch. D. The rule of your local member of parliament, MP. The rule of law is a fundamental principle of British life. British society is founded on fundamental values and principles which all those living in the UK should respect and support. Practice Test 10. Question 1. Is the statement below true or false? Shakespeare was a playwright and actor. True. False. True. Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, England. He was a playwright and actor and wrote many poems and plays. Question 2. Which two of the following are famous British film directors? Option A, Sir Alfred Hitchcock and Evelyn Waugh. Option B, Evelyn Waugh and Thomas Gainsborough. Option C, Sir Alfred Hitchcock and Sir Ridley Scott. Or Option D, Evelyn Waugh and Sir Ridley Scott. Option C, Sir Alfred Hitchcock and Sir Ridley Scott are British film directors who have had great success in the UK and internationally. Question 3. Is the statement below true or false? Sir Isaac Newton was a famous musician from the 18th century. True. False. False. Sir Isaac Newton was a famous scientist who showed how gravity applied to the whole universe. Question 4. Which two of the following would you contact for help on a legal matter? A solicitor and citizen's advice. B, a solicitor and a local counselor. C, a local counselor and your local member of parliament, MP. D, citizen's advice and your local member of parliament, MP. Option A is correct. Solicitors are trained lawyers who give advice on legal matters, take action for their clients, and represent their clients in court. Citizens' advice can give you names of local solicitors and tell you which areas of law they specialize in. Question 5. Which two new national bodies began operating in 1999? A, Welsh Assembly, now called the Senedd, and Scottish Parliament. B, Scottish Parliament and English Parliament. C, House of Lords and Welsh Assembly, now called the Senedd. D, House of Lords and Scottish Parliament. Option A is correct. Since 1997, some powers have been devolved from the central government to give people in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland more control over matters that directly affect them. There has been a Welsh Assembly, now called the Senedd, and a Scottish Parliament since 1999. Question 6. Which of the following statements is correct? A, Sir Andy Murray is the first British man to sail around the world. B, Sir Andy Murray is the first British man to win a singles tennis title in a Grand Slam tournament since 1936. Option B is right. Sir Andy Murray is a Scottish tennis player and the first British man to win a singles tennis title in a Grand Slam tournament since 1936. Question 7. Which two are associated with Sir Francis Drake? A, defeating the Spanish Armada and early flight. B, defeating the Spanish Armada and sailing around the world. C, early flight and the Titanic. Or D, the Titanic and sailing around the world. Option B is correct. Sir Francis Drake was one of the commanders in the defeat of the Spanish Armada. His ship, the Golden Hind, was one of the first to sail right around the world, circumnavigate. Question 8. Which of the following is a responsibility you will have as a citizen or permanent resident of the UK? A, using your car as much as possible. B, visiting your local pub regularly. C, keeping an allotment. D, looking after the area in which you live and the environment. Option D is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include looking after the area in which you live and the environment. Option D is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include looking after the area in which you live and the environment. Question 10. Is the statement below true or false? The British Constitution is contained in a single written document. Question 10. Is the statement below true or false? The British Constitution is contained in a single written document. Question 11. Which two people are famous UK sports stars? A. Sir Chris Hoy and Dame Kelly Holmes. B. Lucian Freud and Jane Austen. C. Dame Kelly Holmes and Jane Austen. D. Sir Chris Hoy and Lucian Freud. Option A. Sir Chris Hoy is a Scottish cyclist who has won 6 gold and 1 silver Olympic medals. Dame Kelly Holmes won 2 gold medals for running in the 2004 Olympic Games. Question 12. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The first person to use the title Prime Minister was Sir Robert Walpole. B. The first person to use the title Prime Minister was Sir Christopher Wren. Option A is correct. Sir Robert Walpole was the first person to be called Prime Minister. He was Prime Minister from 1721 until 1742. Question 13. Why is Sir Edwin Lutyens famous? A. He won a gold medal at the London 2012 Olympic Games. B. He was the first UK Prime Minister. C. He invented the World Wide Web. Or D. He was a 20th century architect. Option D is correct. Sir Edwin Lutyens was a famous 20th century architect who designed the cenotaph in Whitehall. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? Sir Mo Farah and Dame Jessica Ennis-Hill are well-known athletes who won gold medals at the 2012 London Olympics. True. Sir Mo Farah won gold medals in the 5,000 and 10,000 meters, and Dame Jessica Ennis-Hill won a gold medal in the heptathlon. Question 15. What did St. Augustine and St. Columba do during the Anglo-Saxon period? A. They invented new farming techniques. B. They led an uprising in Wales. C. They helped to spread Christianity across Britain. Or D. They fought courageously against the Romans. Option C is correct. St. Augustine and St. Columba were early Christian missionaries who came to Britain to preach about Christianity. St. Columba founded a monastery on the Isle of Iona. St. Augustine spread Christianity in the south and became the first Archbishop of Canterbury. Question 16. Which of the following statements is correct? The Chancellor of the Exchequer is responsible for crime, policing, and immigration. The Chancellor of the Exchequer is responsible for the economy. Option B is correct. The Chancellor of the Exchequer is the cabinet minister responsible for the economy. Question 17. Is the statement below true or false? In the 1830s and 1840s, a group called the Chartists campaigned for reform to the voting system. True. The Chartists campaigned for reform of the voting system. The changes they wanted included elections every year and for all regions to be equal in the electoral system. Question 18. Which of the following is a Stone Age monument in the UK? A. Globe Theatre. B. Nelson's Column. C. Stonehenge. D. Windsor Castle. Option C is correct. Stonehenge is a Stone Age monument in the English county of Wiltshire. It was probably a special gathering place for seasonal ceremonies. Question 19. Is the statement below true or false? Snowdonia is a national park in Northern Ireland. False. Snowdonia is a national park in North Wales. Its most well-known landmark is Snowdon, which is the highest mountain in Wales. Question 20. Which two are famous gardens in the UK? A. Sissinghurst and Snowdonia. B. London Eye and Sissinghurst. C. London Eye and Snowdonia. Or D. Sissinghurst and Bodnant Garden. Option D is correct. Sissinghurst is in England and Bodnant Garden is in Wales. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The swinging 60s was a period of religious change. B. The swinging 60s was a period of social change. Option B is correct. The 1960s was a period of significant social change. It was known as the swinging 60s. There was growth in British fashion, cinema, and popular music. Question 22. Which two groups were associated with King Charles I and Parliament during the English Civil War? A. Tories and Roundheads. B. Cavaliers and Luddites. C. Roundheads and Cavaliers. D. Roundheads and Luddites. Option C is correct. Supporters of the king were known as Cavaliers, and supporters of Parliament were known as Roundheads. Question 23. St. Andrew is the patron saint of which country? A. England. B. Scotland. C. Wales. D. Northern Ireland. Option B is correct. St. Andrew is the patron saint of Scotland and is celebrated on 30 November each year. Question 24. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Plymouth, Norwich, and Leeds are cities in England. B. Newport, Swansea, and Cardiff are cities in Scotland. Plymouth, Norwich, and Leeds are cities in England. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Sir Steve Redgrave is a famous rower who won gold medals in 5 consecutive Olympic Games. B. Sir Steve Redgrave is a famous film actor who has won several BAFTAs. Option A is correct. Sir Steve Redgrave won gold medals in rowing in 5 consecutive Olympic Games and is one of Britain's greatest Olympians. Question 2. Which two values are upheld by the Commonwealth Association of Countries? A. Democracy and rule of law. B. Violence and rule of law. C. Democracy and communism. D. Communism and rule of law. Option A and C are correct. The Commonwealth is based on the core values of democracy, good government, and the rule of law. Question 3. Which two are 20th century British inventions? A. The World Wide Web and the diesel engine. B. Television and the World Wide Web. C. Mobile phones and the diesel engine. D. Television and mobile phones. Option A is correct. The Commonwealth is based on the core values of democracy, good government, and the rule of law. Question 4. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was fought at sea. B. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was fought in the air. Option A is correct. The Battle of Britain was fought in the air above Britain in 1940. The British resisted with their fighter planes and eventually won the crucial aerial battle against the Germans in the summer of 1940. Question 5. Which two issues can the devolved administrations pass laws on? A. Health and foreign affairs. B. Health and education. C. Education and immigration. D. Foreign affairs and immigration. Option A is correct. The devolved administrations in Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland can pass laws on matters that directly affect them, including health and education. Question 6. Is the statement below true or false? The Home Secretary is the government minister responsible for managing relationships with foreign countries. False. The Home Secretary is the government minister responsible for crime, policing, and immigration. The Foreign Secretary is the government minister responsible for managing relationships with foreign countries. Question 7. Textile and engineering firms found workers from which two countries after the Second World War? A. Canada and India. B. India and Pakistan. C. South Africa and Pakistan. D. South Africa and India. Option A is correct. Textile and engineering firms from the north of England and the Midlands sent agents to India and Pakistan to find workers. Question 8. Which two are famous UK landmarks? A. Loch Lomond and Notre Dame. B. Snowdonia and Notre Dame. C. Snowdonia and Loch Lomond. D. Grand Canyon and Loch Lomond. Option B is correct. Loch Lomond is the largest expanse of fresh water in mainland Britain and probably the best-known part of the Trossachs National Park. Snowdonia is a national park in North Wales. Question 9. Is the statement below true or false? All citizens and permanent residents of the UK can choose which laws they follow. False. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include respecting and obeying the law. Question 10. Is the statement below true or false? The House of Lords always acts as the government wishes. False. The House of Lords is normally more independent of the government than the House of Commons. Question 11. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Cricket matches can last up to 5 days. B. Cricket matches can last up to 2 weeks. Option A is correct. Some cricket games can last for up to 5 days and still result in a draw. Question 12. Is the statement below true or false? The main political parties actively look for members of the public to help at elections and contribute to their costs. True. The main political parties actively look for members of the public to join their debates, contribute to their costs, and help at elections for parliament or for local government. They have branches in most constituencies and hold policy-making conferences every year. Question 13. What type of government was formed after the general election of 2010? A. National. B. All-party. C. One-party. D. Coalition. Option D is correct. The 2010 coalition was formed by the Conservative and Liberal Democrat parties. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? In 1707, the kingdoms of England and Scotland were united. True. The Act of Union, known as the Treaty of Union in Scotland, was agreed in 1707 and created the Kingdom of Great Britain. Question 15. Which two are political parties in the UK? A. Modern Party and Conservative Party. B. Office Party and Labour Party. C. Modern Party and Labour Party. D. Conservative Party and Labour Party. Option D is correct. The major political parties in the UK include the Conservative Party, the Labour Party, and the Liberal Democrats. Question 16. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great. B. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Kenneth MacAlpin. Option A is correct. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms in England united under King Alfred the Great, who defeated the Vikings. Question 17. Is the statement below true or false? Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland each have devolved administrations which give them total control over all policies and laws. False. Some powers have been devolved from central government to give people in Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland more control over matters that directly affect them. Some policy and laws remain under central UK government control. Question 18. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Decisions on government policies are made by the monarch. B. Decisions on government policies are made by the Prime Minister and Cabinet. Option B is correct. The monarch has regular meetings with the Prime Minister and can advise, warn, and encourage, but the decisions on government policies are made by the Prime Minister and Cabinet. Question 19. Which two patron saints' days occur in March? A. Saint David and Saint George. B. Saint David and Saint Patrick. C. Saint David and Saint Andrew. D. Saint Patrick and Saint Andrew. Option B is correct. Saint David, the patron saint of Wales, has a special day on 1st March. Saint Patrick, the patron saint of Northern Ireland and Ireland, has a special day on 17th March. Question 20. Which of the following statements is correct? A. All acts of Parliament are made in the monarch's name. B. All acts of Parliament are made in the Prime Minister's name. Option A is correct. The monarch is the head of state of the UK. All acts of Parliament are made in the monarch's name. Question 21. Saint George is the patron saint of which country? A. England. B. Scotland. C. Wales. D. Northern Ireland. Option A is correct. Saint George is the patron saint of England and is celebrated on 23rd of April each year. Question 22. Which area of government policy is the responsibility of the Chancellor of the Exchequer? A. Education. B. Health. C. Economy. D. Legal affairs. Option C. The Chancellor of the Exchequer is responsible for the economy and is a member of the Cabinet. Question 23. What is the name of the Northern Ireland Assembly Building? A. The Houses of Parliament. B. The Synod. C. Stormont. D. Holyrood House. Option C is correct. The Northern Ireland Assembly Building is known as Stormont. Question 24. When did the Battle of Hastings take place? A. 1066. B. 1415. C. 1642. D. 1940. Option A is correct. The Battle of Hastings took place in 1066. Question 1. What is the title of the national anthem of the UK? A. Long Live the King. B. God Save the King. C. Long Live the Monarch. D. Almighty is the King. Option B is correct. The national anthem of the UK is God Save the King. It is played at important national occasions and at events attended by the king or the royal family. Question 2. Is the statement below true or false? In the UK, you are expected to treat others with fairness. Option true is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include treating others with fairness. Question 3. Where is the Synod based? A. London. B. Newport. C. Glasgow. D. Cardiff. Option D is correct. The Synod is based in Cardiff, the capital city of Wales. Question 4. Which of the following statements is correct? A. There are 50 pence in a pound. B. There are 10 pence in a pound. C. There are 100 pence in a pound. D. There are 20 pence in a pound. Option C is correct. The currency in the UK is the pound sterling, symbol, pound. There are 100 pence in a pound. Question 5. Which two of the following were English Civil War battles? A. Marston Moor and Hastings. B. Waterloo and Marston Moor. C. Hastings and Naseby. D. Marston Moor and Naseby. Option D is correct. The battles of Marston Moor and Naseby were English Civil War battles. Question 6. How is the Speaker of the House of Commons chosen? A. By the monarch. B. Through a public election. C. In a secret ballot. D. By the Prime Minister. Option C is correct. The Speaker is chosen by other members of Parliament, MPs, in a secret ballot. The Speaker keeps order during political debates to make sure the rules are followed. Question 7. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The BBC is primarily funded by advertising. B. The BBC is partially funded by the state. Option B is correct. The BBC is a British public service broadcaster providing television and radio programs. Although it receives some state funding, it is independent of the government. Question 8. Which of these groups can take part in the National Citizen Service Program? A. All children up to the age of 17. B. Pensioners. C. 16 and 17-year-olds. D. 18 to 30-year-olds. Option C is correct. The National Citizen Service Program gives 16 and 17-year-olds the opportunity to participate. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Proms is an 8-week summer season of classical orchestral music. B. The Proms is a series of tennis matches held every June in London. Option A is correct. The Proms is an 8-week summer season of orchestral classical music that takes place in various venues, including the Royal Albert Hall in London. Question 10. Which two are influential British bands? A. The National Trust and the Rolling Stones. B. The National Trust and the Beatles. C. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles. Or D. The Rolling Stones and the Royal Family. Option C is correct. The Beatles and the Rolling Stones are two British bands that continue to have an influence on music, both in the UK and abroad. Question 11. Saint David is the patron saint of which country of the UK? A. England. B. Scotland. C. Wales. D. Northern Ireland. Option C is correct. Saint David is the patron saint of Wales, and Saint David's Day is celebrated on 1st March each year. Question 12. The Bill of Rights of 1689 limited whose powers? A. The King's. B. Parliament's. C. Judges, D. The churches. Option A is correct. The Bill of Rights of 1689 confirmed the rights of Parliament and the limits of the King's power. Question 13. Who elects police and crime commissioners, PCCs? A. The police, B. The Home Office, C. The public, D. Members of Parliament. Option C is correct. The public elects police and crime commissioners, PCCs, in England and Wales. PCCs are responsible for the delivery of an efficient and effective police force. Question 14. In which part of the British Empire did the Boer War of 1899-1902 take place? A. India, B. Canada, C. Australia, D. South Africa. Option D is correct. The Boer War took place in South Africa between the British Army and the Boer settlers, who originally came from the Netherlands. Question 15. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The capital city of Northern Ireland is Swansea. B. The capital city of Northern Ireland is Belfast. Option B is correct. The capital city of Northern Ireland is Belfast. Question 16. Which two of the following issues can the Northern Ireland Assembly make decisions on? A. Defense and Foreign Affairs, B. Agriculture and Social Services, C. Defense and Agriculture, D. Foreign Affairs and Social Services. Option B is correct. The Northern Ireland Assembly can make decisions on various issues, including agriculture and social services. Question 17. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The official home of the Prime Minister is 10 Downing Street. B. The official home of the Prime Minister is Buckingham Palace. Option A is correct. The official home of the Prime Minister is 10 Downing Street in central London, near the Houses of Parliament. He or she also has a country house outside London called Chequers. Question 18. At what age can you vote in a general election in the UK? A. 16, B. 18, C. 21, D. 23. Option B is correct. The present voting age of 18 was set in 1969. Question 19. Is the statement below true or false? The flower that is particularly associated with England is the rose. True. The countries that make up the UK all have flowers which are particularly associated with them and which are sometimes worn on national saints' days. In England, the flower is the rose. Question 20. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The public can listen to debates in the House of Commons. B. No member of the public is allowed to attend debates in the House of Commons. Option A is correct. The public can listen to debates from public galleries in both the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Question 21. What was the Beveridge Report of 1942 about? A. How to end the war in Europe. B. How to treat the Germans and Japanese after the war. C. Establishing a welfare state. D. The coalition government. Option C is correct. The Beveridge Report of 1942, called Social Insurance and Allied Services, recommended that the government should find ways of fighting the 5 giant evils of want, disease, ignorance, squalor, and idleness, and provided the basis of the modern welfare state. Question 22. On which date is St. Patrick's Day celebrated? A. March 1st, B. March 17th, C. April 23rd. D. November 30th. Option B is correct. St. Patrick, the patron saint of Northern Ireland and Ireland, has a special day on 17th March. Question 23. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Industrial Revolution is the name given to the rapid development of industry in Britain in the 20th century. B. The Industrial Revolution is the name given to the rapid development of industry that began in the 18th century. Option A is correct. The Industrial Revolution refers to the rapid development of industry in Britain from the mid-18th century. Question 24. What were two important aspects of the Reform Act of 1832? A. It abolished rotten boroughs and gave women the vote. B. It decreased the power of the monarch and it gave women the vote. C. It greatly increased the number of people who could vote and abolished rotten boroughs. D. It decreased the power of the monarch and it gave women the vote. Option C is correct. The Reform Act of 1832 greatly increased the number of people with the right to vote. The act also abolished the old pocket and rotten boroughs, parliamentary seats where there were few voters, and more parliamentary seats were given to the towns and cities. Practice tests 13. Question 1. Which two rights are offered by the UK to citizens and permanent residents? A. Free groceries for everyone and a right to a fair trial. B. Long lunch breaks on Friday and a right to a fair trial. C. Freedom of speech and a right to a fair trial. D. Freedom of speech and free groceries for everyone. Option C is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include freedom of speech and a right to a fair trial. Question 2. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The small claims procedure is an informal way of helping people to settle minor disputes. B. The small claims procedure helps people to make small home insurance claims. Option A is correct. The small claims procedure is an informal way of helping people to settle minor disputes without spending a lot of time and money using a lawyer. Question 3. Which of the following is the capital city of Wales? A. Swansea, B. Cardiff, C. Edinburgh, D. Belfast. Option B is correct. The capital city of Wales is Cardiff. Question 4. Which of the following statements is correct? A. It is free to visit the Houses of Parliament to listen to debates. B. It costs £15 per person to visit the Houses of Parliament to listen to debates. Option A is correct. The public can listen to debates from public galleries in both the House of Commons and the House of Lords. Entrance is free. You can write to your local MP in advance to ask for tickets, or you can queue on the day at the public entrance. Question 5. Is the statement below true or false? The swinging 60s is a reference to the 1860s. False. The decade of the 1960s was a period of significant social change. It was known as the swinging 60s. There was growth in British fashion, cinema, and popular music. Question 6. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The official church of state in England is the Church of England. B. There is no official church of state in England. Option A is correct. The Church of England is the official church of state in England. The monarch is the head of the Church of England. Question 7. Which two of the following plants are particularly associated with the UK? A. Shamrock and rose. B. Cactus and olive tree. C. rose, and cactus, option A is correct. The countries that make up the UK all have flowers which are particularly associated with them and which are sometimes worn on national saints' days. In England, the flower is the rose. In Northern Ireland, it is the shamrock. Question 8. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The divine right of kings was the idea that the English king should rule France. B. The divine right of kings was the idea that the king was directly appointed by God to rule. Option B is correct. The divine right of kings was the idea that the king was directly appointed by God to rule. Question 9. Which two records tell us about England during the time of William the Conqueror? Select two answers. A. The Domesday Book and the Bayeux Tapestry. B. The Diary of Samuel Pepys and the Bayeux Tapestry. C. The Domesday Book and the Magna Carta. D. The Diary of Samuel Pepys and the Magna Carta. Option A is correct. The Domesday Book is a record of towns and villages in England. The Bayeux Tapestry tells the story of the Norman conquest. Question 10. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Police and crime commissioners, PCCs, are appointed through a public election. B. Police and crime commissioners, PCCs, are appointed by the local council. Option A is correct. The public in England and Wales elect police and crime commissioners, PCCs. The first elections for PCCs were held in November 2012. Question 11. What is the name of the UK currency? A. Dollar. B. Euro. C. Pound sterling. D. Yen. Option C is correct. The currency in the UK is the pound sterling, symbol pound. There are 100 pence in a pound. Question 12. Which two of the following were introduced in the early 20th century? A. Child benefit payments and free school meals. B. The National Health Service, NHS, and child benefit payments. C. The National Health Service, NHS, and old age pensions. D. Old age pensions and free school meals. Option D is correct. The early 20th century was a time of social progress. Old age pensions and free school meals were just a few of the important measures introduced. Question 13. Who opens the new parliamentary session each year? A. The Archbishop of Canterbury. B. The Prime Minister. C. The Speaker of the House of Commons. D. The King. The King has important ceremonial roles, such as the opening of the new parliamentary session each year. Question 14. Is the statement below true or false? The Scottish Parliament can pass laws for Scotland on all matters. False. The Scottish Parliament can pass laws for Scotland on all matters that are not specifically reserved to the UK Parliament. Question 15. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The King is ceremonial head of the Commonwealth. B. The King is ceremonial head of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO. Option A is correct. The King is the ceremonial head of the Commonwealth, which currently has 54 member states. Question 16. Which significant change was introduced by the Education Act of 1944? A. New public examinations. B. Free secondary education in England and Wales. C. Primary education for all. D. The requirement to wear school uniform. Option B is correct. The Education Act of 1944 often called the Butler Act after the Minister of Education at the time, R.A. Butler, introduced free secondary education in England and Wales. Question 17. Which of the following is a responsibility you will have as a citizen or permanent resident of the UK? A. To keep your dog on a lead at all times. B. To avoid shopping on a Sunday. C. To look after yourself and your family. D. To grow your own vegetables. Option C is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include looking after yourself and your family. Question 18. Which of the following statements is correct? A. Hadrian's Wall was built by the Roman Emperor Hadrian. B. Hadrian's Wall was built by the Picts, ancestors of the Scottish people, to keep out the Romans. Option A is correct. The Emperor Hadrian built a wall in the north of England, Hadrian's Wall, to keep out the Picts, ancestors of the Scottish people. Question 19. Is the statement below true or false? The National Citizen Service provides military training to young people. False. The National Citizen Service gives 16 and 17-year-olds the opportunity to enjoy outdoor activities, develop their skills, and take part in a community project. Question 20. In everyday language, people may say, "Rain stopped play." With which sport is this phrase associated? A. Football. B. Cricket. C. Rugby league. D. Horse racing. Option B is correct. The expression "rain stopped play" is associated with cricket. The phrase has now passed into everyday usage. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Battle of Agincourt is commemorated in the Bayeux Tapestry. B. The Battle of Hastings is commemorated in the Bayeux Tapestry. Option B is correct. The Bayeux Tapestry commemorates the victory of William, Duke of Normandy, at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Question 22. Which cross on the Union flag represents the patron saint of Scotland? A. The diagonal white cross. B. The diagonal red cross. C. The upright red cross. Or D. None of these. Option A is correct. The cross of St. Andrew, patron saint of Scotland, is a diagonal white cross on a blue ground. Question 23. Which two of the following are linked to football? A. The Premier League and the Open. B. UEFA and the Premier League. C. The Ashes and UEFA. D. The Ashes and the Open. Option B is correct. The English Premier League attracts a huge international audience. Many of the best players in the world play in the Premier League. Many UK teams also compete in competitions, such as the UEFA, Union of European Football Associations, Champions League, against other teams from Europe. Question 24. Is the statement below true or false? The Lake District is England's largest national park. True. The Lake District is England's largest national park. It covers 912 square miles, or 2,362 square kilometers. Practice tests 14. Question 1. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Reform Act of 1832 greatly increased the number of people who had the right to vote. B. The Reform Act of 1832 increased the power of the House of Lords. Option A is correct. The Reform Act of 1832 greatly increased the number of people with the right to vote. The act also abolished the old pocket and rotten boroughs, parliamentary seats where there were few voters, and more parliamentary seats were given to the towns and cities. Question 2. Which cross on the Union flag represents the patron saint of Ireland? A. The diagonal white cross. B. The diagonal red cross. C. The upright red cross. D. None of these. Option B is correct. The cross of St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland, is a diagonal red cross on a white background. Question 3. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The capital cities of the nations of the UK are London, Swansea, Glasgow, and Dublin. B. The capital cities of the nations of the UK are London, Cardiff, Edinburgh, and Belfast. Option B is correct. The capital cities of the nations of the UK are London, England, Cardiff, Wales, Edinburgh, Scotland, and Belfast, Northern Ireland. Question 4. Which Scottish king defeated the English at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314? A. William Wallace. B. Robert the Bruce. C. Malcolm. D. Andrew. Option B is correct. The English were defeated at the Battle of Bannockburn by Robert the Bruce in 1314. Question 5. Which 2 points about slavery are correct? A. William Wilberforce was a leading abolitionist and the Royal Navy refused to stop ships carrying slaves. B. Quakers set up the first anti-slavery groups and the Royal Navy refused to stop ships carrying slaves. C. Slavery survived in the British Empire until the early 20th century and the Royal Navy refused to stop ships carrying slaves. D. William Wilberforce was a leading abolitionist and Quakers set up the first anti-slavery groups. Option D is correct. The first formal anti-slavery groups were set up by the Quakers in the late 1700s, and they petitioned Parliament to ban the practice. William Wilberforce, an evangelical Christian and a member of Parliament, also played an important part in changing the law, and in 1833, the Emancipation Act abolished slavery throughout the British Empire. Question 6. Is the statement below true or false? The daffodil is the national flower of Wales. True. The daffodil is the national flower of Wales and is worn on St. David's Day. Question 7. Is the statement below true or false? The First World War ended at 11 a.m. on 11 November 1918. The First World War ended at 11 a.m. on 11th November 1918 with victory for Britain and its allies. Question 8. Where do the Laurence Olivier Awards take place? A. London. B. Cardiff. C. Edinburgh. D. Belfast. Option A is correct. The Laurence Olivier Awards take place annually at different venues in London. There are a variety of categories, including Best Director, Best Actor, and Best Actress. Question 9. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Speaker of the House of Commons remains a Member of Parliament, MP, after election as Speaker. B. The Speaker of the House of Commons has to give up being an MP when elected as Speaker. Option A is correct. The Speaker is neutral and does not represent a political party, but he or she remains an MP, represents a constituency, and deals with constituents' problems like any other MP. Question 10. Which sport can be traced back to 15th century Scotland? A. Surfing. B. Formula 1. C. Golf. D. Motorbike racing. Option C is correct. The modern game of golf can be traced back to 15th century Scotland. Question 11. Why was the Habeas Corpus Act of 1679 so important? A. It ensured no person could be held prisoner unlawfully. B. It allowed people to bury the dead where they wished. C. It ensured that those who died could only be buried by a relative. D. It ended capital punishment in England. Option A is correct. The Habeas Corpus Act was a very important piece of legislation which remains relevant today. Habeas corpus is Latin for "you must present the person in court." The act guaranteed that no one could be held prisoner unlawfully. Question 12. Is the statement below true or false? The British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, is financed by income tax. False. The money from TV licenses is used to pay for the British Broadcasting Corporation, or BBC. Everyone in the UK with a TV, computer, or other medium which can be used for watching TV must have a television license. Question 13. What system of government does the UK have? A. Communist government. B. Dictatorship. C. Parliamentary democracy. D. Federal government. Option C is correct. The system of government in the UK is a parliamentary democracy. The UK is divided into parliamentary constituencies, and voters in each constituency elect a Member of Parliament, MP, to represent them. Question 14. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. B. The Highland clearances took place in Ireland. Option A is correct. The Highland clearances took place in Scotland. Many Scottish landlords destroyed individual small farms known as crofts to make space for large flocks of sheep and cattle. Question 15. Which two responsibilities do you have as a resident of the UK? A. Respect and obey the law, and take in and look after wild animals. B. Treat others with fairness and vote for the government in power. C. Treat others with fairness and take in and look after wild animals. D. Respect and obey the law and treat others with fairness. Option D is correct. There are responsibilities and freedoms which are shared by all those living in the UK. These include respecting and obeying the law and treating others with fairness. Question 16. Which of the following statements is correct? A. A free press means that what is written in newspapers is free from government control. B. A free press means that newspapers are given out free of charge. Option A is correct. The UK has a free press. This means that what is written in newspapers is free from government control. Question 17. To which two international associations or agreements does the UK belong? A. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. B. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and the Commonwealth. C. The Commonwealth and the Arab League. D. The Commonwealth and the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. Option B is correct. The UK belongs to many international bodies, including NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the Commonwealth. Question 18. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Mousetrap is a play that has been running in London's West End since 1952. B. The Mousetrap is an environmental policy aiming to prevent mice from destroying crops. Option A is correct. The Mousetrap, a murder mystery play by Dame Agatha Christie, has been running in the West End since 1952. Question 19. Which two were 20th century British discoveries or inventions? A. Radium and the printing press. B. The hovercraft and radium. C. Penicillin and the printing press. D. The hovercraft and penicillin. Option D is correct. The hovercraft was invented by Sir Christopher Cockerell, and penicillin was discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming. Question 20. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The National Trust is a charity that works to preserve important buildings in the UK. B. The National Trust is a government-run organization that provides funding for charities. Option A is correct. The National Trust in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland and the National Trust for Scotland work to preserve important buildings, coastline, and countryside. Question 21. Which of the following statements is correct? A. The Industrial Revolution was the rapid development of industry in the 18th and 19th centuries. B. The Industrial Revolution introduced changes in the banking system in the 1970s. Option A is correct. The Industrial Revolution was the rapid development of industry in Britain in the 18th and 19th centuries. The development of machinery and use of steam power transformed industries such as manufacturing and mining. Question 22. Is the statement below true or false? St. Helena is a crown dependency. False. St. Helena is a British overseas territory and not a crown dependency. Question 23. Which of the following is part of the UK? A. The Channel Islands. B. Northern Ireland. C. The Isle of Man. D. The Falkland Islands. Option B is correct. Northern Ireland is part of the UK, along with England, Wales, and Scotland. Question 24. Which of the following do you need to do in order to get a full driving license? A. Pass a driving test. B. Buy a car or van. C. Pay income tax. D. Find a full-time job. Option A is correct. To get a full UK driving license, you must pass a driving test, which tests both your knowledge and your practical skills. Practice tests 15. Which part of the Union flag represents England's patron saint? A. A slanted white cross. B. A slanted red cross. C. A vertical red cross. D. No part of the flag. Correct answer, C. England is symbolized by the red upright cross of St. George on a white background. 2. What is the main purpose of the United Nations? A. To form one shared trade market. B. To prevent conflict and support global peace and security. C. To review decisions made by the EU. D. To encourage authoritarian rule. Correct answer, B. The UN was created after WW2 to help avoid wars and promote peaceful cooperation among nations. 3. Which statement is accurate? A. Scotland's capital city is Edinburgh. B. Scotland's capital city is Glasgow. Correct answer, A. Edinburgh is the official capital of Scotland. 4. What name was given to supporters of King Charles I during the Civil War? A. Luddites. B. Roundheads. C. Cavaliers. D. Levelers. Correct answer, C. Royalist supporters of the king were known as Cavaliers. Parliament supporters were called Roundheads. 5. Which classical music season has been run by the BBC since 1927? A. The Eisteddfod. B. The Aldeburgh Festival. C. The Proms. D. Glastonbury. Correct answer C. Explanation. The Proms is an annual summer series of orchestral concerts organized by the BBC. 6. Which two bodies make up the UK Parliament? A. House of Lords and House of Representatives. B. House of Fraser and House of Commons. C. House of Commons and House of Representatives. D. House of Lords and House of Commons. Correct answer D. Explanation. Parliament consists of the House of Commons and the House of Lords. 7. The shamrock is Scotland's national flower. True or false? False. Correct answer, false. The shamrock represents Northern Ireland. Scotland's national flower is the thistle. 8. To apply for permanent residence or citizenship, which two requirements must you meet? A. Speak and read English plus understand life in the UK. B. Have a UK bank account plus speak and read English. C. Have a UK bank account plus understand life in the UK. D. Speak and read English plus hold a driving license. Correct answer is A. Explanation. Applicants must demonstrate English ability and knowledge of life in the UK. 9. Which statement is correct? A. Some MPs do not belong to major political parties. B. All MPs must be members of a political party. Correct answer A. A small number of MPs sit as independents without party affiliation. 10. Which two major welfare reforms were introduced between 1945 and 1950? A. The NHS and a national benefit system. B. State pension and employment exchanges. C. The NHS and employment exchanges. D. Employment exchanges and free school meals. Correct answer A. Explanation. The post-war Labour government created the NHS and a nationwide benefit system. 11. Which language family did Iron Age people in Britain speak? A. Latin. B. Celtic-related languages. C. English. D. Anglo-Saxon. Correct answer B. Iron Age communities spoke languages belonging to the Celtic family. 12. Which two are parts of the UK government? A. The Cabinet plus the Civil Service. B. The Civil Service plus FIFA. C. The National Trust plus FIFA. Or D. The Cabinet plus the National Trust. Correct answer is A. The Cabinet and Civil Service are central components of the UK government. 13. Who originally constructed the Tower of London? A. Oliver Cromwell. B. Queen Elizabeth II. C. William the Conqueror. D. Winston Churchill. Correct answer C. William the Conqueror ordered the tower's construction after becoming king in 1066. 14. The criminal court systems across England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland are identical. True or false? False. Each part of the UK has its own legal system, with differences in courts and procedures. 15. The Wimbledon Championships are linked to motorsports. True or false? False. Wimbledon is the world's oldest tennis tournament. 16. Which statement is correct? A. Welsh rebellions ended by the mid-1600s. B. Welsh rebellions ended by the mid-1400s. Correct answer. B. Explanation. The last major Welsh uprisings were defeated by the 15th century. There are many language variations across the UK. True or false? Correct answer. True. The UK has diverse accents and dialects. Welsh, Gaelic, and Irish Gaelic are also spoken in different regions. The Scottish Parliament meets in Edinburgh. True or false? Correct answer. True. The modern Scottish Parliament, established in 1999, sits in Edinburgh. 19. The jet engine and radar were invented in Britain in the 1830s. True or false? Correct answer. False. Both technologies were developed in Britain during the 1930s. 20. What must you do to be eligible to vote in elections? A. Pay income tax the year before. B. Register your name on the electoral roll. C. Register with the police. D. Pass a voting test. Correct answer. B. To vote, you must be listed on the electoral register maintained by your local council. During which historical period did people live in round houses and bury the dead in round barrows? A. Middle Ages. B. Bronze Age. C. Stone Age. D. Victorian era. Correct answer. B. Around 4,000 years ago, Bronze Age communities built round houses and used round barrows for burials. 22. Which statement is correct? A. The UK is a NATO member. B. The UK has never been part of NATO. Correct answer. A. The UK is a founding member of NATO, a defense alliance of Europe and North America. 23. Which statement is correct? A. The Romans left Britain after 100 years. B. The Romans left Britain after about 400 years. Correct answer. B. Roman rule lasted roughly 4 centuries, ending around AD 410. 24. Which of the following is a British overseas territory? A. Northern Ireland. B. The Falkland Islands. C. France. Or D. The USA. Correct answer is B. The Falkland Islands are one of several British overseas territories located around the world. Practice Test 16. Which statement is true? A. Wales and Northern Ireland each have an official state church. B. Neither Wales nor Northern Ireland has an established church. Correct answer. B. Unlike England, these two parts of the UK do not have a church that is formally tied to the state. 2. Thomas Hardy wrote Far from the Madding Crowd. True or false? Correct answer, true. Hardy was a well-known English novelist and poet whose works often focused on rural life. This novel is one of his most famous. 3. What was the Reformation? A. A weakening of noble power. B. A movement challenging the Pope's authority. C. A phase of the Wars of the Roses. D. A type of rights charter. Correct answer, B. The Reformation was a Europe-wide religious movement that opposed certain practices of the Roman Catholic Church and questioned papal authority. Which statement is correct? A. Pregnant women in the UK have equal employment rights. B. Employers may refuse to hire pregnant women. Correct answer, A. UK equality laws protect people from discrimination, including on the basis of pregnancy or maternity. 5. Hadrian's Wall was built to defend against which group? A. The Irish. B. The Welsh. C. The Picts. D. The Vikings. Correct answer, C. The wall was constructed in Roman times to keep out the Picts, ancestors of the Scottish people. 6. Where did the Vikings originate? A. Germany and Austria. B. Belgium and the Netherlands. C. Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. D. France and Luxembourg. Correct answer, C. Viking raiders and settlers came from Scandinavia, particularly these 3 countries. 7. Which statement is correct? A. Volunteering is a way to earn extra money. B. Volunteering means helping others without being paid. Correct answer, B. Volunteering involves giving time and effort to good causes without financial reward. 8. The crown jewels can be viewed at the Tower of London. True or false? Correct answer. True. The crown jewels are displayed at the tower and can be visited by the public. 9. For which 2 types of writing is Shakespeare famous? A. Plays and sonnets. B. Biographies and sonnets. C. Novels and biographies. D. Novels and plays. Correct answer is A. Shakespeare is celebrated for his dramatic works and his collection of sonnets. 10. Why is Henry VIII remembered? Choose 2 reasons. A. He married 6 times and fought at Agincourt. B. He married 6 times and separated England from the Church of Rome. C. He invented croquet and married 6 times. Or D. He invented croquet and fought at Agincourt. Correct answer, B. Henry VIII is known for his 6 marriages and for creating the Church of England after breaking with Rome. 11. How long did the Romans stay in Britain AD 430 to 410? A. 50 years. B. 100 years. C. 400 years. D. 600 years. Correct answer, C. Roman rule lasted nearly 4 centuries. 12. The UK population has grown more quickly in recent years. True or false? Correct answer, true. Increased migration and longer life expectancy have contributed to faster population growth. 13. Which statement is correct? A. When you buy a car, you must pay vehicle tax each year. B. You don't need to pay vehicle tax if the previous owner already paid it. Correct answer, A. Vehicle tax does not transfer between owners. Each new owner must pay it themselves. 14. The Union flag includes 3 crosses. Besides St. George, which 2 saints are represented? A. St. David and St. Perrin. B. St. David and St. Andrew. C. St. Patrick and St. Andrew. Or D. St. Patrick and St. Perrin. Correct answer, C. The flag combines the crosses of St. George, England, St. Andrew, Scotland, and St. Patrick, Ireland. Which statement is correct? A. Charles, King of Scotland, became King Charles II of England in 1660. B. Bonnie Prince Charlie became King Charles II of England in 1660. Correct answer, A. After exile, Charles II returned in 1660 and was restored to the throne of England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. 16. Which 2 types of cases are handled in county courts? A. Divorce and murder. B. Murder and minor criminal cases. C. Minor criminal cases and contract disputes. D. Divorce and contract disputes. Correct answer, D. County courts deal with civil matters, including family issues like divorce and disagreements over contracts. 17. Which of these is a well-known landmark in Wales? A. Snowdon, B. Loch Lomond, C. Windermere, D. The Giant's Causeway. Correct answer, A. Snowdon is the highest mountain in Wales and a major feature of Snowdonia National Park. 18. What event is celebrated every year on 14 February? A. Valentine's Day, B. Bonfire Night, C. Halloween, or D. Hogmanay? Correct answer is A. Valentine's Day is when people exchange cards or gifts with loved ones or secret admirers. 19. Which two inventions originated in Britain? A. Television and the jet engine, B. The jet engine and radio, C. Television and the diesel engine, D. Radio and the diesel engine. Correct answer, A. Both the television and the jet engine were major British innovations of the 20th century. 20. Henry VII founded the Tudor dynasty. What color was the Tudor rose? A. White, B. Red and white, C. Red, or D. Pink? Correct answer, B. The Tudor rose combined a red outer rose with a white inner rose, symbolizing unity between rival houses. 21. Which countries make up Great Britain? A. Only England, B. England, Scotland, and Wales, C. England and Scotland, D. England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Correct answer, B. Great Britain refers specifically to the island containing these three nations. 22. Which two foods are traditional in the UK? A. Strudel and haggis, B. Welsh cakes and haggis, C. Sushi and Welsh cakes, D. Sushi and haggis. Correct answer, B. Welsh cakes are a traditional Welsh treat, and haggis is a classic Scottish dish. 23. What is the capital city of the United Kingdom? A. Westminster, B. Birmingham, C. Windsor, D. London. Correct answer, D. London is the UK's capital and largest city. 24. Which of the following is a crown dependency? A. England, B. Northern Ireland, C. The Channel Islands, D. Scotland. Correct answer, C. The Channel Islands are self-governing territories linked to the UK, but not part of it. Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we will cover the latest practice questions and answers for Life in the UK Test 2026. We request you to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are not already a subscriber. We'd love for you to join our growing community. Just hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the questions. Practice Tests 17. The Union flag contains 4 crosses, one for each part of the UK. True or false? Correct answer, false. The Union flag includes 3 crosses, St. George for England, St. Andrew for Scotland, and St. Patrick for Ireland. Wales is not represented separately because it was already united with England when the flag was created. 2. Which statement is correct? A. You must have a UK bank account to apply for permanent residence or citizenship. B. You must be able to speak and read English to apply for permanent residence or citizenship. Correct answer, B. Applicants must show English language ability and knowledge of life in the UK. A bank account is not required. 3. Which statement is correct? A. Women make up around 1/4 of the UK workforce. B. Women make up around half of the UK workforce. Correct answer, B. Women now participate widely in the workforce, representing roughly half of all workers. 4. What rights did married women gain through the Acts of 1870 and 1882? A. Voting rights and free health care. B. Voting rights and the right to keep their earnings. C. The right to keep their own earnings and property. D. Free secondary education and voting rights. Correct answer, C. Before these laws, a married woman's income and property automatically belonged to her husband. The acts allowed women to control their own money and possessions. 5. Which of the following is a traditional pub game in the UK? A. Scrabble. B. Pool. C. Rounders. D. Poker. Correct answer is B. Pool and darts are classic pub games, and pub quizzes are also popular. 6. Henry VIII created the Church of England after the Pope refused to grant him a divorce. True or false? Correct answer, true. When the Pope denied Henry's request to end his marriage, he established the Church of England, giving the king authority over religious matters. British scientists were the first to clone a mammal successfully. True or false? Correct answer, true. The first cloned mammal was Dolly the sheep, created by a British research team. 8. What is a bank holiday? A. A public holiday when banks and many other businesses close. B. A holiday only for bank employees. C. A week-long break for everyone. D. An extra holiday earned by working long hours. Correct answer is A. Bank holidays are national public holidays when many workplaces, including banks, shut for the day. 9. The official flag of Wales includes a dragon. True or false? Correct answer. True. The Welsh flag features a red dragon. It does not appear on the Union flag because Wales was already part of England when the first Union flag was created. 10. Which country's invasion by Germany in 1939 led the UK to declare war? A. Austria. B. Finland. C. Poland. D. France. Correct answer, C. Germany's attack on Poland prompted Britain and France to declare war, beginning the Second World War. Number 11. Which two types of writing is Shakespeare known for? A. Plays and TV dramas. B. Poems and radio scripts. C. Plays and poems. D. TV dramas and radio scripts. Correct answer, C. Shakespeare is celebrated for his plays and his poetry, especially his sonnets. 12. Which statement is correct? A. Churchill was Prime Minister during the First World War. B. Churchill was Prime Minister during the Second World War. Correct answer is B. Winston Churchill led Britain from 1940 to 1945 during WW2. 13. Which two are British overseas territories? A. Canada and Malaysia. B. Falkland Islands and St. Helena. C. Falkland Islands and Malaysia. Or D. Canada and St. Helena. Correct answer, B. These territories are linked to the UK but are not part of it. 14. Which statement is correct? A. After the 1689 Bill of Rights, two political groups emerged, the Whigs and the Tories. B. After the 1689 Bill of Rights, the Labor Party and the Greens emerged. Correct answer, A. The Whigs and Tories became the main political groupings after the Bill of Rights. 15. Which UK city hosted the 2012 Paralympic Games? A. Belfast, B. Cardiff, C. Edinburgh, D. London. Correct answer, D. London hosted both the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games. Some people rent land called an allotment to grow fruit and vegetables. True or false? Correct answer, true. Many people enjoy gardening, and allotments provide extra space for growing produce. 17. When walking your dog in public, what must you ensure? A. The dog wears a special coat. B. The dog stays within 3 meters of you. C. The dog avoids other dogs. D. The dog wears a collar with the owner's name and address. Correct answer, D. By law, dogs in public must wear a collar showing the owner's contact details. Wales united with England during Henry VIII's reign. True or false? Correct answer, true. The Act for the Government of Wales formally united Wales with England under Henry VIII. 19. Which statement is correct? A. The UK is governed by the Parliament in Westminster. B. The UK is governed by the Parliament in Edinburgh. Correct answer, A. Westminster is the seat of the UK Parliament, although Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland have devolved legislatures. 20. What are 2 benefits of volunteering? A. Extra money and a courtesy car. B. Meeting new people and receiving a courtesy car. C. Meeting new people and helping improve your community. D. Extra money and meeting new people. Correct answer, C. Volunteering is unpaid, but it offers social benefits and helps strengthen communities. 21. Ulster fry is a traditional Welsh food. True or false? Correct answer, false. Ulster fry is a traditional dish from Northern Ireland. 22. Which 2 are well-known British authors? A. Mary Quant and Henry Moore. B. Thomas Hardy and Graham Greene. C. Thomas Hardy and Henry Moore. D. Graham Greene and Henry Moore. Correct answer is B. Both Hardy and Greene are major figures in British literature. 23. How are local councils funded? A. Local fundraising events. B. Donations from residents. C. Central government funding and local taxes. D. Local businesses. Correct answer, C. Councils receive money from the national government and from taxes collected locally. William Blake, Lord Byron, and Robert Browning were all famous golfers. True or false? Correct answer, false. These 3 men were renowned poets, not athletes. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, we'd love for you to join our growing community. Just hit that subscribe button. Want a downloadable PDF of these questions and answers? You can grab it from our website, www.shapingpixel.com. Full link is in the description below. Happy learning!